to the Future.
Tell me, doctor, where are we going this time? Is this the 50s or 1999? All I wanted to do is play my guitar and say, so take me away. I don't mind, but you better promise me I'll be back in time. Hell yeah, dude. Back to the Future. Finally,
you handle this one because this is like your favorite movie of all time. I'm just gonna make.
Oh,
I'm barely gonna be part of this one. I think.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, Back to the Future is literally the movie that made me who I am today. So yeah, but first of all, just want to say hi everyone in the chat. Oh, of course, yeah, I gotta sing a bit. Flagged for copyright. Listen, Huey Lewis wishes he could sing as good as me. All right, that's just the truth. Okay. Hi, everyone in the chat. What about you, Dark Hour? How you doing, my brother?
I'm doing pretty good. You know what? I actually wasn't able to rewatch the movie because it wasn't on any streaming service. And I don't know where my DVDs are. So I'm going to be going based on memory, but I've seen this movie plenty of times. So I'm not too worried about it. You know, I've seen it you've probably seen it more than me, but I've seen it several dozen times in my life. So it's weird. I keep like switching between lately all these different streaming platforms because a lot of people are exodusing off of StreamYard and they're doing all these. And my lighting is never right for any of them anymore.
Your lighting changes every single time.
Yeah, well, it's because all of them have like. Let's see. Let's do that, and we'll turn it up a little bit. It's a little bit better. Okay. It's like every one of them has like a different lighting setting, so it's it's going to be really annoying for me for a little while, but I'm excited for this one because this was one that was actually supposed to be on last year's schedule, and I moved it because
40th anniversary.
We were going to do it was that, and we decided we were going to do bi-weekly instead of weekly.
Weekly. Oh yeah, that's true. Yep. True.
But we got some great guests, some returning, one debuting. So
hell yeah, let's bring them out.
Before we get to that, just want to say hi, chat. We see you.
Hi, Melvin.
Melvin's always there. At some point, he'll probably tell us that Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is shit. So we'll
because it's the truth. It's the truth.
Yeah. But yeah, I guess let's bring out our debuter first. This guy, he had reached out to me really, really early in my YouTube journey, and it took us a while to finally hook up on his channel once, and then of course. I haven't been able to make a return since because my schedule has changed. But I always wanted to get him on here. And then when he told me he wanted to do Back to the Future, I was like, that's great. That's 3 bookings right there. You get to be on 3. It's awesome. So it makes my life a lot easier. And that's Off the Cover. OTC.
3 for the price of 1. Yeah. How you
guys
doing?
I'm doing pretty
great,
good,
man. What about you?
I'm excited to talk about this movie because it is like by far one of it's I don't know, like I could never. When somebody asks me, "Oh, what's your favorite movie of all time?" I don't know. Everybody says like Shawshank. I'm like, you got to give them like a top 10, and this is like definitely way up there. So when I was rewatching last night, I was like, oh yeah, this feels so good again. I feel like a kid.
Oh yeah, I definitely agree with you there. It has such a nice nostalgic feel to it.
Oh yeah,
it's so good. It's so good.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking just last night. I'm like, this is the perfect movie. There's nothing wrong with it.
The problems from it kind of stem from the sequels, not so much it itself.
Right.
So you can overlook some of the plot holes, so to say. Yeah. But as soon as they started adding more in the second and third movie, that's when it started becoming like more glaring, which is probably a sign that they might most likely shouldn't have done the sequels. They're still good movies, but they probably shouldn't have done them.
Fun fact: the entire trilogy now takes place in the past.
Yes, it does.
That's true. Yeah,
2015. Yeah.
I was Marty McFly for.
Oh, cool! I didn't even see that. That's
Yeah.
I always love you have a great like background setup. I like the way you do
I mean,
it. It's kind
but
of similar
the
to what I
lighting
do.
kind of sucks because it's daytime. So
yeah.
like I'm trying to.
Yeah, I
like,
blacked
put
out
light
this
on it, but
window.
yeah.
I blacked out the window that I have in here, so it's only whatever lighting I have, which makes it even harder with all these different streaming platforms.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's good to have you on, man.
Absolutely.
I'm glad we
to
got
be here.
So I guess we'll just go in order of who I got here. And next, I don't remember his intro because he hasn't been on in a while. It was hailing from an era where franchises were protected and gatekeeping was to be expected. It's the Golden Age geek. There, I remembered it. He's the only one who has a legitimate pre-written one because he was the first guest. So,
Yep.
Yeah,
how you doing, man?
I always get ready for Dark Hour to unleash that intro. But no,
I should probably
like
pre-record it.
Yeah, no, it's great to be here. I wouldn't say that Back to the Future is like my definitive all-time favorites movie, but like most of you, it's very high up there. And this is a movie which I have seen like not even joking more than 100 times, and it's one that you can always go back to because it is written very well, but more importantly it's just very fun. It's just it's just a bunch of fun that you can always just go and have a good time with. So, and it's also a film which did sort of form me in terms of the sort of things I look for in films. The type of comedy resonates with me, just everything about it. So yeah, it's a film that is very personal to me, and I love all three of them. This one I would say is definitively the best objectively, but no, all three are a bunch of fun, and yeah, I can't wait to get into this with all of you.
Hell yeah, dude! I'm so glad that you're back on Two Hosts to do this one with us.
Just trying to figure out my lighting here. Don't pay attention to me. But yeah, it's honestly I always love when Golden comes back because it reminds me that he was the first guest I ever booked. So every time I bring him back, it's a little nostalgic moment for the first episode that we ever did. So, but
I don't feel worthy of that praise. I feel like whenever it's mentioned that.
Well, unfortunately, you have that praise. You were the first person I ever booked, and I can't undo that, or can I? But we have two more returners. Actually, she hasn't been on the channel in quite a while. She was on a lot early on, and unfortunately, as the guest book grew, it became harder to book everyone. So, but I always promised her I'd get her back on, and she is the queen of Mr. Brown Alliance, and that is Reni L.
Hello there.
Hi, Reni.
Hey, Reni.
So it's good to be back.
It's great to have you back.
I do need to bring it up. There is a rumor going around that you are married.
Yeah, I believe the guy I married is in the chat at this moment.
Oh, nice.
Hell yeah.
Haven't had a chance to say that in a while, so.
Yeah. Yes, the rumors are true.
Oh, there he is.
There you go. In his James Bond pose. He took that picture on our anniversary, or we took that picture on our anniversary recently, and he was like, "Here, take it. I look like James Bond." I'm like, okay. But he looks pretty sexy in it, so can't complain.
008, the Agent 008, there he is.
There you go. Bond's backup.
Hell yeah. But it's so great to have you back on, Reni. It's been a while.
Yeah, it's so good to be back, you guys.
Yeah, it's funny because I restreamed all of the old Two Hoes back onto the channel, and I realized then I was like, holy shit, Reni was on a lot in the first 6 months. We had the show. I was really poaching the shit out of Mr. Brown's guests at that point. That was one of the I didn't have my own guest book. I just used his. So
it's always awkward, reaching out to people, cold calling them essentially. Hey, you want to be on my live stream?
Yeah, it's because I've gotten better at it recently, but early on it was just I lucked out that I had a lot of connections through Mr. Brown and them, and it was allowed me to fill out the panels a lot easier. Now it's actually hard to fill out the panels only because I don't want to overutilize people. So I don't want to have somebody be in 7 in 2 months and then not on again for 8 months after that or something, you know.
The biggest
But we do have
shout out to Mr. Brown. I saw you in the chat earlier. Hope you're doing well, Mr. B.
I'll try to kick over the audience to him depending on the timing of when we end.
Yeah.
But yeah, and we have one additional. I don't remember the last time she was on, but every time she's on, she brings a lot of really good insight, and that's why I love to bring her on. That's Teresa Martin, Ms. Martin's Muses.
Hello. Yes, it was with the Sixth Sense that I was last on.
Correct. Yes. Yeah. So that was back in like October or something like that.
That was back when Bruce Willis had hair. Yep.
Exactly. And I knew all the Latin that was going on in that.
That was it. Yeah. The Latin. Now I remember.
It's great to have you
was
back,
one. I think
Morgan.
I was like really out of it for that stream, so I was just like, "You guys just handle this one." Just like...
because you were hungry, you weren't. You didn't have the Snickers bar.
Well, now it's a Twix bar, king size too, because I'm I get really hungry.
Oh well, I guess just before we delve into everyone's first experiences of the movie, we do have a super chat from Nails for $10. Thank you, Nails.
Right
Every scene breakdown, ask what would this be like with Eric Stoltz? # release the Stoltz cut.
Fun fact.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say all of the obviously not for our thumbnail, but for the Twitter conversation, the thumbnail for that, and then for our Discord server, I found a picture of Eric Stoltz in place, but it's a very subtle one that if you're not looking really closely, you wouldn't notice it. And it even uninspired didn't realize that that's what I did.
Dude. So. It's weird because I was trying to find some BTS shots to put at the end of the live stream, and I realized that almost every single one of them has Eric Stoltz. It's hard to find one with actually Michael J. Fox in terms of the first movie. So I was like, man, they filmed a lot with Eric Stoltz, or like they just didn't have any more budget to have cameras. I guess maybe documenting the shoot after he was fired. It's like,
could you imagine though? I mean, as much as I think Eric Stoltz is a decent actor, but he's definitely not Marty McFly to me. And I've tried to picture him as such, and I'm like, it just doesn't fit, man.
He comes off as more of a drug dealer who has the adrenaline shot that you need to give somebody.
Like
that's
in
more
Pulp
of the
Fiction?
character. Yeah, like in Pulp Fiction. That's more what I feel for him.
He doesn't have the comedic delivery.
Exactly.
No. Well, he does, but it's a different comedic. Because for something like Back to the Future, it's more of
it's high octane energy.
Well, it's high octane. It's physical. It's like the visuals are really what sell Marty McFly, the way he reacts with his body. Whereas Stoltz is more he's more
laid back.
He's laid back. It's more of a vocal style that he does. Yeah. So I don't think it would have worked.
Michael J. Fox, I think, cut his teeth on doing that specific style of acting on Family Ties.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like that over. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you needed to have someone who was very high energy to be Marty. Yeah. There's just no way around it.
And Michael J. Fox was the type of person who would like since he's coming from TV and there's a ton of rewrites in TV, he would learn his lines just before the scene. So it's like it would play well with Christopher Lloyd, who is a theatrically trained actor, and so he would learn the entire script already, and Marty would just come, and so a lot of it was proper banter between themselves, which is why the chemistry between them is just so good.
But thank you again, Nails, for your super chat.
Yeah, and, thank you, Nails.
We will try. I will try to remember at least, maybe not for every scene, because that would make the stream about 17 hours longer. So, but maybe for after each clip, we'll do like what would Eric Stoltz have done at the
probably wouldn't have skateboarded.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
Yes,
and Professor R2 pointing out in the chat that he was eagle-eyed enough to notice the Stoltz picture, and I was upset that he pointed it out. I was like, you did it too quickly. I wanted people to not realize for months. I was like,
the thing with Eric Stoltz is that apparently behind the scenes and in front of the camera, he was just very serious because he's a method actor. And I know that from listening to many interviews that Thomas F. Wilson, who plays Biff, them two didn't get along behind the scenes. The one scene in the high school where Biff and Marcy, grab each other, apparently Eric Stoltz was like really digging his nails into Thomas F. Wilson, and Thomas F. Wilson said
that's what happens when someone digs into your
Eric
arm
would
right
say,
there.
"Call me Marty."
Yeah, right
Oh,
there
yeah.
is what
Ooh.
happens when someone
And
digs
everyone-
you can see that it's fingers. So that's what in jiu-jitsu we call it touch. When you go to grab someone's gi and instead you grab their skin. That's what it's called.
And apparently Eric Stoltz just really didn't like Wilson because he refused to call him Marty. And he's like, no, I'm going to call you Eric because that's your name. And he's like, no, you will call me Marty. And yeah, those two just didn't get along. But no, interestingly, there are a few shots taken that are included in the actual Back to the Future film from the Stoltz cut. And I don't just mean all the shots not featuring him, because I know that a lot of the scenes you'll see Marty not directly in frame with another character, because the way they filmed it, they'd have a camera on one actor, and then when they were like, oh god, we're gonna have to redo this whole thing, they said, well, we'll just do the ones where Marty is in the shots. But do you guys know about the scene in the diner where Marty punches Biff, and how in that split millisecond that's actually Eric Stoltz fist connecting with
Oh, I didn't
Thomas
know
F.
that.
Wilson.
Wow, no
And
kidding.
actually,
I'm gonna have to pause that.
But
Yep. You
Well,
can see
knowing
it.
knowing
Definitely
her,
is.
we
I
have
doing
the
that because
clip.
it's
Yeah.
because it's
Huh.
glaringly obvious, because if you really slow down the clip and you play it at an extremely low speed, you can see how when Biff is in the shot featuring Michael J. Fox, he looks much older. His hair is slightly different because obviously they had to redo those shots with, because Michael J. Fox was in that shot. So yeah, it's very interesting to go back and slow that down, and you can really see the differences.
I do forget that he was in Anaconda.
Wait,
Because
Eric Stoltz was the dude that choked in
Yeah.
Anaconda?
Yeah, it's because, and I think that's
Yes.
why I forget about it, because half the movie he's like in a bed dying, so you kind of forget he's even in
Yeah.
the movie.
That's it. Oh. Anaconda's a good movie, man. I'll defend Anaconda.
Oh
So-
yeah, it's definitely
It was a
solid,
fun
like
movie.
B movie. It's
It's a fun movie. Wasn't J-Lo in it as well?
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Ice Cube, John Voight.
Yep.
John Voight,
It was
yep.
so fun.
Owen Wilson. That's like where the wow
Yep.
face was immortalized because he was in the
Wow.
Anaconda. You
Yep.
can see it.
With the
Special
wow.
music.
Man, I rewatched Anaconda not long ago, and they took full advantage of the meme ability, because the first thing that Ice Cube says is like, "It was a good day." I was like, "All right,
Who was the
that's it.
guy?
Oh,
I
yeah,
never know.
that's
I don't
right.
know the actor's name. The guy who played the father in Jumanji. He's
Rob.
like he's
Oh,
a British.
yeah.
I don't know his name. He's one of those guys that you just see in every movie. But yeah, he was in it too. It was actually a really good cast for such a weird film. But we could do Anaconda one day. Today we're
Hell
talking
yeah.
Back to the Future.
That would be awesome.
All right. Well, I guess we should start with a round table of everyone's first proper experience, or the first time that they remember the movie,
Or just something cool that you want to talk about
Yeah.
the time you watched it or something.
I guess off the cover honors.
Always start with the newest guest.
So I'm fairly certain I saw the third one first in theaters, because I was like 2 when this one came out. But my favorite memory of it was when I was in 5th grade, and the teacher's like, one of the students should bring in a movie that everybody could watch. It's got to be like PG. And I'm like, I'll bring Back to the Future. And so in that first scene where Marty's trying to get away from the Libyans, he says the word shit. And then all the kids in the class are like, "Oh my god!" And then the teacher's like, "I thought this was PG." Yeah, no, but that was, and I mean, I've watched it so many times. Like, I rented it so many times that my mom just asked one of her friends to just give her the tape so that I could keep on watching it over and over and over. Like, I mean, yeah. It's the perfect movie. I have no complaints.
Yeah, dude. I'm there with you. Back to the Future is incredible.
Yeah, I mean,
Ms. Martin's Muses. I guess you'll go next.
Well, I have a very distinct memory of this because as a little girl, I was living in Cork, Ireland, and we had a home leave, like where we would come back to America for about 6 weeks. And that was back when a movie like Back to the Future came out. And it was like an event. For one thing, they usually were very kid friendly and adult friendly. When I say kid friendly, relatively kid friendly, you know, I was 10 years old. It was deemed appropriate for me to go see that. And we knew Marty McFly, you know, Michael J. Fox from Family Ties. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it's Family Ties. It's so let's go see it. And there was just so much hype. So we went to the mall and played some video games, some arcade games, you know, asked mom and dad for a bunch of quarters. And then we all went to see Back to the Future. And oh my gosh, we just were roaring, laughing the whole time. Now, as I got older, of course, I got even more jokes from it, but it's just such a staple of my tween years. And then everyone was talking about it. Everyone was getting the collector's cards. And then, you know, when I went back to Ireland, I was like, oh my gosh, we've got this great movie. And that was back when movies would come back months later over there. So when it finally came out, me and my friends went to see it. And so it was the perfect movie. It's very rare that I say that a movie is completely perfect from beginning to end. Jaws is one of them. This is another one. There is not one bad moment. There is not one joke that does not land, and there is not 1 minute of it that doesn't completely satisfy and still make you laugh. I mean, I've seen it so many times, of course, once it came out on VHS. I have it memorized. I didn't have to rewatch it. It's like I saw it yesterday.
Yeah, same with me. Only reason I rewatched it was to make the clips, but I didn't need a rewatch for this.
Yeah, that's what I said. What I said backstage. I couldn't find my DVDs, and it wasn't on any free streaming platform for me. Any of the ones I had. So I was like, but I've seen this movie so many times. Whatever, it'll all come back to me as we go along. I think that's everybody here could have just not rewatched it. We would have been fine for the stream.
Yeah, but what's the fun in that?
Yeah, you gotta rewatch it.
From time to time, I just don't rewatch it for various reasons. Either I don't have the time, or I'm not gonna pay Amazon $4 to watch a movie I've seen 1,000 times. You know, it's like
True. There are other ways, darker ways to get your information.
Yeah, I mean, I could have risked, you know, some malware, but why? For something I've seen so many times.
A man after my own heart. I like that. A fellow sailor of the high seas.
Ah, yes, always.
I could have done, but like I said, it was one of those ones I didn't need to. But you could tell Teresa was really excited there, because I don't think she took a breath that entire time she was explaining.
Once I got going, I mean, it's nostalgia, isn't it? And like I said, it's roaringly funny. And I think 2 and 3 suffer from not having the dad in there. Now we all know the reasons why, but some of that chemistry was slightly off with him being missing. But I mean, just the whole thing when he was like,
talk about the single most glaring. We couldn't get this guy back in the history of movies is Back to the Future 2. We're gonna hang him upside down and make sure you can't get a good look at his face.
You don't recognize him. Make sure he's always moving around upside down.
And then in the alternative future, we're gonna kill him, so he's not even in that future. And then you're gonna go back, and we're gonna make sure every scene that we reuse is so far away that
so that was really sad. But yeah, it was so funny. And I also learned ist term, because I didn't know what the big deal about was the certain reference to a ghost, if you know what I mean. And my mom and dad had to tell me, it's like, oh, that used to be an ist word back in the day. So I guess we all got an education.
Right, yeah, I just caught that on the last watch through. I'm like, oh, right. We're watching it in 2025 versus like our childhood. It's actually a different perspective.
Yeah, well, you'll always catch stuff like that when you rewatch something as an adult, even if it wasn't a huge zeitgeist change. Just your general experience will change how you look at things.
What about you, Reni?
I was going to say Reni's next.
I remember. I don't remember too much about this because I was a little bitty, but I did get to see it in the movie theaters, and my parents were huge fans of the show Taxi. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but we used to watch reruns of it on the TV, and Christopher Lloyd was on that. He played a taxi driver and a crazy one at that. So I was like, oh, it's Jim from Taxi, but he's actually smart. Okay, cool. So, and of course, Michael J. Fox from Family Ties. So I really enjoyed it for all it was worth, but I think that I enjoyed it more. Like as a kid, it was like, oh, cool. They could do all this stuff with science. But as an adult, it's like, oh, this is some really good stuff. And then you catch like the things that, make sense. Like whenever Marty hits the second pine tree, that the Twin Pines Mall turns into the Lone Pines
Lone
Mall
Pine
or Lone
Mall,
Pine Mall, like, whenever he goes back to the future and things like that. So, you notice all these some of them are subtle changes, some of them are obvious, but it's kind of cool to see that they actually kept it like true to form, so to speak. So
Mhm.
you're not like, oh, look at this goof and look at this goof. Did they even bother to think about the implications of this once, this comes into play? So I didn't really have a lot of that as an adult. And, as an adult, I feel like we're all trained to kind of look for mistakes. I don't know why. I feel like that's just modern society, but I do agree with Teresa. It's pretty perfect from beginning to end. There's not a lot of movies I say that for. One of them, of course, some of you will be unsurprised, but is The Godfather as well. Perfect movie from beginning to end, perfectly acted, all that stuff. And same thing with Back to the Future. Perfect people for the roles. There's just really not any complaints about this movie. And when my husband and I rewatched it the other day, we had to get a new TV on Black Friday. But the picture quality was freaking amazing on this LG TV we have. And I'm like, for being a 1980s movie, the quality on this TV and on Blu-ray is just amazing. So it didn't feel like we were watching an old movie. It just felt like we were watching a cool movie, So I don't know. I just great experience rewatching it the other day, and I have nothing bad to really say about this movie.
Yeah, it's interesting you mentioned about the clarity of the movie because I feel like Back to the Future, the 1985 one specifically, and Ferris Bueller's Day Off are two movies that you can watch today, and you would actually think that they were period pieces made today because of how crystal clear the actual filmmaking is. I don't know what type of cameras they use specifically, or if it's the lighting or something like that, but for some reason, those two movies have always stood out in my mind of 80s movies being incredibly clear on modern screens. It's
I'm gonna have to check out Ferris Bueller and see how that looks because I haven't watched that in years. But
Ferris Bueller looks incredible. Yeah.
And yes, I was trying to figure out the light mode. So because I think that if you slow it down, my eyes went like I couldn't even see for a second.
I saw the flash of lightning. I was like, whoa.
I was like,
holy
is he
shit.
trying to be spooky here?
No, I was trying to figure out the light mode, and it hit all at once. I was like, holy shit, my eyes.
Golden Age, I guess that leaves you as the last one in terms of guest to tell us about your experience with Back to the Future.
I think the first time I was introduced to this franchise was, I believe, I was over my grandparents and Back to the Future 2 was on. And I believe it's the scene where Biff and Marty are in the tunnel and Marty's trying to retrieve the almanac. And that scene just sort of piques all my interests because I saw a flying hoverboard. You have the flying DeLorean. There's all this action going on, lots of suspenseful music. And I remember asking, well, what's this? What's this film about? And they said, well, this is a film about time travel. And me being me, having grown up with Doctor Who, I went, oh, time travel? That sounds interesting. And so naturally I picked up the whole trilogy physically and went back to watch the first one, all of them in order. And I was just immediately captivated. I think what's really sort of gripped me about these films is not necessarily, although the characters are very good, it's well written, the comedy's very good, it's sort of everything around it. So I'm someone who always looks out for, and especially when it comes to time travel and period pieces, always the architecture, the clothing, the music of the time, and all of that really got me into this franchise. This film is also the first time I had heard, Mr. Sandman, that song, and that always stuck with me because I still like that song to this day, and that was my first introduction to it. But everything, the way everything's designed, the music, the way people interacting, just everything just felt, although it's set in the past, felt kind of new and refreshing to me. And so that's really what got me into this film. And then, of course, I watched the second and third one, which I would say out of all of them, the second one is the most fun, but but probably the least best written. And it's kind of, if you kind of switch your brain off and like we mentioned with all the funny shots with George McFly in the second one, some of the goofy stuff, but yeah, it doesn't really make a lot of sense. You can kind of laugh at it, but it's, you know, it's really fun. But this one is very well written, and as you say, when you go back in subsequent viewings, you can see loads of little details, like particularly when Marty goes from the original 1985 to the new one, you notice little differences, like the Twin Pines Mall and the Lone Pine Mall.
Yeah.
Just all of that. It's such an interesting film to look out for these little details.
Yeah, it's definitely it was one of the original films in terms of making people look for little
Continuity.
Continuity, Easter eggs, stuff like that. It was one of the earliest ones that really tried to do that kind of stuff.
Because they put so much detail into it too, you know, just posters in the background and very, very little things. Everything is on the screen with intent. That's something that lacks today, which is just done fantastically in this film.
Very, very detail oriented.
I guess I'll go next because Uninspired is going to take an hour to explain.
Yeah.
So there was, as I was growing up, there was always two go-to franchises when I was, you know, I wanted to watch them in order. Usually when I was like sick or something, and you know, you can't really go out of the house, and it was either Rocky. I would watch 1 through 4, and then sometimes 5 if I wanted to fall asleep. And the other go-to was always Back to the Future, because those really roll well. Like, you know, there's you know, the original Star Wars trilogy is fun to watch all in a row, but the way that they roll from movie to movie is just so much better with the Rocky series and especially Back to the Future, because the end of each one of those movies is basically the beginning of the next movie. Yeah. So it's it was always one of my go-tos, and I think I probably did it more so with Back to the Future because there was only 3 movies as opposed to having to watch 4 or 5. You didn't have a much smaller block. But a lot of time, I think that I've probably seen 1 and 2 the most. 3 I haven't watched nearly as many times. That one I never connected with 3 quite as much as the first 2. Probably because it's, you know, it goes so far back in time, but so that was always kind of my best experiences with the movie. Was ironically when I was like sick when I was like 10. It was like I was yes, I get to watch The Price is Right and then all of Back to the Future. That was my day. I had it set every time.
Back to the Future is like there is no uninspired reviewer without Back to the Future. I mean, let me share this. This is my channel banner. Okay, it's me in a DeLorean, for Christ's sake. So that's how that's how influential Back to the Future is. You know, to me, Back to the Future is what formed my taste in music. It's what formed my taste in movies. It's what formed my taste in comedy. No, without Back to the Future, I wouldn't.
Horrible taste in soda.
Oh yeah, Pepsi Cola, baby. But yeah, Back to the Future is it's the reason why I listen to like, you know, like to blues, to jazz. It's so influential on me. So yeah, it's like there is no uninspired reviewer without Back to the Future. There is no Felix, you know, like me as a normal person. I wouldn't be the same without Back to the Future. Back to the Future is
there's no 2 hoes without this
yeah
movie.
Like literally, Back to the Future is the reason why I want to become a writer and director, hopefully in the future. It's because of this movie. So yeah, and
someone just cheers that. That was
yeah, dude. So yeah, I guess it's time to hop right in. So
Yay.
Don't mind me singing sometimes.
Oh, I already know for a fact I'll be fighting this one after we're done.
Don't worry, I don't have any. I don't have anything where we have proper copyrighted music, except for in the trailer, of course, that I just showed. So yeah, Universal. I love you, Universal. I know I slander you so much on this stream, but Universal is one of the only studios that actually approved this movie and gave Robert Zemeckis money. So thank you for that. Thank you so much for that, Universal. And it is a Robert Zemeckis film, ladies and gentlemen. Back to the Future, looking nice and crisp with one of the coolest, you know, in my opinion, coolest looking logos. Now, let me check. All right, give me a sec, because I'm on one screen. Okay, I only have one screen, and I'm sharing like 5 different things. So I'm playing the intro clip without any audio. So once I play the clip, you guys can unmute yourselves manually, and we can talk over it. So yeah, Felix the cat.
Hey, there's uninspired right there.
There I am. Yeah. You know, as I was talking about with the intent behind everything. Just this one long scene alone highlights all of that. The Doc is an inventor. He's been gone for a while. You know, plutonium theft. Well, here we have the plutonium. The fact that he has all of his money, and of course you just have Marty McFly fucking about for some reason.
That's the one thing that always was weird to me, is that he's just a high school kid hanging out with some weird
mad scientist.
Mhm.
Which, by the way, when I was watching this last night, I'm like, that's the largest amp I've ever seen.
Right?
Well, I've never even seen one like that in real life.
One of the running gags is that the professor is always trying to, Doc Brown is always trying to make things that bigger, better, crazier, insane, and a lot of times they don't work. That's why he's shocked that he can even time travel with the DeLorean.
Yep. And
Which
Doc Brown is incredible.
Which actually, I read this little bit of trivia that the time machine was actually supposed to be a refrigerator originally, and then I guess they revitalized the DeLorean Motor Company just with this one movie alone.
How would that even work? Like, what?
Yeah,
we got to get this down. We got to get this thing down to 32 degrees for it to time travel. Like, how does it even?
Yeah.
Dude, I'm telling you, the DeLorean. To this day, I still want a DeLorean.
Me
Okay,
too.
I still want
I
a
saw one.
specific Back
I
to the
saw one
Future model
recently.
DeLorean.
I actually got to
Yes.
ride in one. Somebody that I used to know in high school had one.
Oh my god, I'm jealous.
Oh,
Yeah.
so jealous.
I only in the front, like only in the passenger seat, but it was pretty sweet. It's a comfortable.
They had the cool
car.
doors. That was all the cars at that point were experimenting with different door styles, because the door was it was so passe at that point.
And they only come in one color because it's a stainless steel car.
You know what
Nah.
though? Someone challenged me the other day. They're like, "You don't like the Tesla truck, but you like the DeLorean." And I was like, "Do you realize how different those look? They may not be painted, but they're completely
The
different."
Tesla truck, I've changed my opinion on that, by the way. Having seen one up close and all the little cool things it can do, I've changed my opinion. It has legitimately, you hit a button,
metal box.
but you hit a button, and it's the trunk is it's almost like the door of a like a storage unit. It is like it like comes. It's really cool. I'll never afford one, but
Yeah, no doubt. They're like
I
500
don't-
grand to start, I think.
I don't want to make uninspired jealous, but I think it was a few months ago. I did come across this one guy had a DeLorean, and he had fully customized it to look like the Back to the Future DeLorean with all the time circuits and everything like that, and it was incredible.
There is you can
I
actually
want something like that. If I could get a DeLorean gifted to me, I would soup it up to
Dude,
look like that.
Rennie, once I win the lottery, I'm buying one for myself and I'm buying one for you. That's pretty much it.
Oh my gosh.
Custom with the Mr. Fusion reactor and everything, just custom. Hopefully it can fly by the time we win the lottery,
That's right. That
Well,
would
hold
be
on.
amazing. I would just freaking die of being like in disbelief. You know what I mean? But that would be amazing.
Hold on. I'm gonna flashbang myself here for a second, and but let me share share this window.
You're lucky, Professor R2.
Hold on.
Dark hour is shining so bright you could probably melt a vampire. You should look to the screen.
I was gonna say, do you see dead
My
people?
god.
Hold on. Here, hold on. I just
Dark
shared
hour,
this.
don't go into the light. Don't go into the light, Dark hour.
Here, that's why I'm. There you go. You can O'Reilly Auto Parts will sell you a flux capacitor. Well, used to be able to sell you a flux capacitor.
That's pretty cool.
Oh my god! If I had a DeLorean, I would buy that damn thing just to put in the back seat or somewhere where people could see it.
Product information: 1.21 gigawatts.
It's weird because I don't even. Terry, I don't even know what the hell this is. It's just making up locations. It's just
That's amazing.
Dark hour, you're back with us. You're back with us, my brother.
Yeah. Sorry, that was the only way I
Even
could do that
Edward
one.
Cullen doesn't glow as much as Dark Hour.
that's why when this was made and it came out way paler than we expected. I was like, actually, that fits. Just keep it like that. Don't repaint it.
That was a temporary light hour.
I was like, holy shit.
Oh my god, dude! Blade has nothing on you at this point.
I am the day walker because whenever I am, it is daytime always.
That's
Well,
hilarious.
I guess we get our first introduction to Marty McFly, and what do you guys think about Marty McFly as a character?
He doesn't know how to use a phone. That's for sure.
Yeah,
He doesn't realize
I'll tell you this much. He really sold me on the whole like ignorant like teenager thing. You know, it's like, what the hell's going on with my life? Or Doc, what does this mean? And, you know, not really knowing much about love and stuff like that. So, I mean, I think he did a great job, even though wasn't he like in his late 20s and he looks so freaking young.
Yeah, he does. He looks really young. But yeah, Michael J. Fox, man, I'm so glad that he pushed his body to the limits to do this because he was working day and night basically.
Between this and Family Ties, right?
Yeah, because it was still last minute. Yeah. Oh, I loved him. Well, see, I was in love with him. My friends and I used to call him Michael J. the Fox.
Nice.
Yeah, because Fox, that meant someone was hot. So yeah,
that's
I
right.
was in love with him. Yes, I wanted to date him, and I was jealous of his girlfriend. No, I thought he was so cool, and of course, being a skateboarder, that made him even more cool.
Yeah.
Dude, skateboarders were so hot when I was young. It's like, damn. So
now skateboarders are like lame. It's weird.
Yeah, now
when I was younger, it was like the coolest thing in the world. Now people are like, you have a skateboard? What the fuck's wrong with you?
I think once Tony Hawk had like, you know, just kind of really allowed it to explode. After the whole Tony Hawk era ended, everybody's like, okay, this is lame again. It's like, wait, what?
It's true. Yeah.
Yeah, once things go mainstream, they become lame.
It's crazy. Like Marty McFly is the reason why I forced my dad to buy me a skateboard. He ended up buying me 3 because first one broke, second one broke.
I was about to say, did you have
third
3
one
legs you needed to use the skateboard with?
Broke.
Yeah,
so they all
here's
broke.
one for your 3rd leg. Here you go.
They all broke, and then he was like, "Yeah, I'm not buying you another one." So that was it. That was that.
Well, that's one of the things about skateboarding is they break all the time because they're just a board. They're a relatively thin board that you're jumping on a lot, so they break a lot
with like some stickers and paint on it and wheels. I mean, I was a decent skateboarder, but you couldn't ask me to go on a ramp or anything crazy. I was no Tony Hawk when I was young.
No, I was never. I didn't want because I was like, I will shatter my ankle. I just know what will happen.
Try skateboarding in Ghana back in like the early 2000s.
Damn,
where the roads are fucking paved. And
I was gonna say you don't even have you guys hadn't even discovered concrete at that point.
Dude, we have like half gravel, half. Dude, it was horrendous, dude. You're basically getting a full-blown vibration over your entire body every time you skateboarded. So no wonder they broke.
Damn.
Not even cobblestones, literally just gravel.
For real.
Good times.
These things
A lot
don't
of
work
skin
on
knees.
gravel.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we would just get on things, no helmet, no knee pads.
That's
or anything.
right.
Yeah.
And we'd have our friends like push us like down hills and things. I'm just like, we could have so died.
I fell in the gutter so many times, dude. Like legitimately. Oh, man.
I feel
Fun
like
game
when
for
we
a
were
guy.
kids, it was just like rub some dirt on it and get over it. Yep. I'm
Oh,
good.
yeah.
I'm good.
Uninspired didn't need to rub the dirt in it. The dirt was there already.
The dirt was there.
Little bits of rock and shrapnel and probably tetanus.
He was just like he was like all of a sudden he just looks over. There's a hippo. He's like, "What the fuck is going on over here? Where am I?" I don't even know if there's hippos in Ghana. I don't know the wildlife of Ghana. Is there hippos in Ghana?
Probably in the probably in the northern on the northern side, wherever there's the.
Let me look it up.
the
Wildlife
river.
in Ghana. Let's see.
Have you seen
lions
Mocho
and shit.
Mocho?
Mocho.
That's how you know who the Madagascar fans are, people.
I went to movies.
Apparently there are hippos. There are hippos in
Moto.
and elephants are pretty common. Crocodiles, okay.
Oh yeah, crocodiles, yeah, for sure.
Okay, well,
I mean,
I will phrase it will be a crocodile. That will now.
croc, yeah.
What a crock.
What a You know, I'm looking at this and I'm like, what a phallic looking sign on the left over there. In front of the motel
Yeah.
sign. This
Oh
one.
yeah,
So yeah.
that guy knew what he was doing with his score.
By the hour.
Well, considering the shows, yeah, the theater.
Yeah.
I will say this: this is probably the most American signage you see in movies. It's every direction is just a different number. This way, that way.
Yeah.
It's like,
Well, it's interesting because it's weird. Well, this is one of the things that I realized on this rewatching. I didn't realize how dilapidated Hill Valley was in the 80s. Because in my mind, it was always the 50s versions that I was thinking about of Hill Valley with, you know, the bright colors. I guess you could say the Pleasantville type of colors. And so, yeah, rewatching this, I was like, man, I never remembered Hill Valley looking like
a lot
shit.
of places by the time the 80s rolled around, a lot of small towns had been kind of fucked over by bigger cities. So
Oh man, but yeah, and of course we meet the principal, Mr. Strickland, calling Marty McFly a slacker. Yeah,
Slackers.
just like his father.
didn't that guy ever have hair?
He was also in Masters of the Universe.
Yes, he was bald in that too.
Yeah.
I don't think he can grow hair, man. Look at the skull. I don't think
I was
he's
just
growing
saying,
any
could be
hair.
alopecia.
He's got the
no
proper-
eyebrows.
He's got the proper head shape to be bald. Like he was supposed to be bald.
Well,
It's,
and
it's,
if you
it's
saw
that
him with
it's like
hair,
that
wouldn't you
perfect
freak
arc
out?
of a head.
Like
I know,
if you saw him with hair, it'd be like weird. It's like, wait, what? That
True.
no.
True. He looks like, and plus it's really veiny too. Ugh.
Yeah, he was meant to be a high school principal. Like that is the look of a high school principal. Like you yell at
100%.
kids and the veins just pop out. And it's like, holy shit.
Oh my god.
What is this actor's name? I've only ever known him as the
It's
principal.
James Tolkien. That's his name.
Oh,
James
okay. I mean,
Tolkien.
I've only ever known him as Principal Strickland. I've never
Me too. So right now he's scolding Marty for getting 4 tardies in a row, because of course Doc set all of his clocks. I think what was it, 20 minutes?
25,
25 minutes. Yep. And we meet Jennifer, of course, who I had a huge crush on as a kid. Because my God,
yes, she is like the
She's
quintessential
gorgeous.
like girl next door.
yep,
Like
she's so
good.
beautiful.
And
Yeah.
the fact that they replaced her in 2 and 3, like don't get me wrong, Elizabeth Shue's pretty hot, but man, Claudia Wells is so much better.
I actually
Yeah, I
prefer
will
Elizabeth
say
Shue,
she's
but that's
prettier.
that's a me thing. I can understand where you're
Boo
coming
this man! Boo!
from. I like Karate Kid.
Yeah, I think he wasn't available or something like that. This
Right.
actor.
A lot of the actors didn't
Oh,
want to
I
come
s-
back.
Didn't they
Yeah.
say they wanted Elizabeth Shue because she was a better actress or something? And they
No.
felt like,
I think Claudia Wells
oh.
had family issues at the time,
Okay.
and so she
'Cause I
couldn't
was
come
like-
back.
I mean, I'll look it up.
Yeah,
If I
I seem to
remember
recall that
correctly.
too.
I think like her mom died or something like that. Like
Aw.
it was a tragic thing, and so that's why, just from memory.
It just says scheduling conflicts and logistical issues, so that doesn't explain anything. Wells,
no.
Career on hold for family reasons. Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Breast
her
cancer.
mom has breast cancer. Yeah, that was.
So
it.
it was probably the scheduling conflicts and logistical issues is a way of saying she had to take her mother to the hospital a lot. That's probably what that was.
Yeah,
Huh?
that
Yeah.
was it. Yep. But yeah, Claudia Wells, man, she was one of my first crushes. So yep.
Yeah.
And of course, we the people, the auditions for the Battle of the Bands. And honestly, fuck Huey Lewis, man. That was some great. That was some good music.
What
was
was
some good
his
music.
music?
I was gonna
Yeah,
say, it's his
true.
own music. And poor thing, he can't sing anymore, right? Because of throat cancer or something?
Oh,
think
really? I
he-
didn't know that.
Yeah, I think his
Possible,
vocal
everyone
cords are
knows.
shot. Yeah,
Oh.
I'm
Everyone
like,
feels
that's depressing.
Whenever
Yeah.
Huey Lewis comes up, I always go back to that scene in my head of in American Psycho where he's like, I like Huey Lewis in the news. Like he's obsessed with Huey Lewis.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, you're just too damn loud.
Yeah.
Yep. And of course, so they kind of just get sidelined for the Battle of the Bands.
No, it's
but
not his vocal cords. It's his ears. He can't
A
hear
what?
properly anymore.
Oh,
Oh my
It's
goodness.
Meniere's disease, which is hearing loss. So that would affect his ability to hear pitch and stuff. So that's probably why.
So it's kind of
Oh,
like
that's so
the
sad.
Sound of Metal type of situation. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. But like one thing that I do like is that even this kind of seems like a one-off gag, but it does set up the fact that Marty is ripping the guitar, so it sets it up for later.
Yeah.
It just doesn't pop out of nowhere that this dude just knows how to play the guitar because he's a cool '80s kid. No, like, he's in a band, and yeah.
Everybody
of course-
in the 80s knew how to play guitar. That was
It's
all.
also
the
pretty
clock
ironic.
tower! Save the clock tower!
It's also pretty ironic that his criticism is that they're too loud, but he's speaking through a megaphone when he
Yep.
could say that to them.
Yep, that is part of the gag. It's true. And I love the way that he doesn't even let them finish. He just gets up. It's like, no, we're done.
That's
All
right.
right. Yep. Save the clock tower. Literally, the original cock blocker right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
clock tower.
The
This
clock
is one of
tower.
my favorite scenes in the movie because, like, I'm like, I always wanted a girl next door like that. Like,
Mm.
I don't, like the interaction, the chemistry between the two, it's so good.
Yeah,
You know,
I totally agree.
She writes the note for him at the end. I love you.
Oh.
It's so good.
Mm-hmm.
And her
Yep.
hair. I was jealous of her hair.
Oh, it's the orgy. Look, America.
Oh yes, we all noticed this the other day. Orgy American style,
American
$5.
style.
Open 24 hours.
I wonder if anyone actually made a film based on that.
Probably.
I can promise you, plenty of orgy American story films have been made. You can find them on the internet mostly.
Well, I don't. My Google history's messed up enough as it is.
Just go into incognito mode. They only take some of that data. Don't worry.
Mhm.
Dude, so the people in the
You
chat,
lied.
I was rewatching this to do the slides, and when I saw it, this is literally the first time I realized that there was like that written on the cinema. So I screen capped it and I sent it to the group that we have for this live show. I was like, "Did you guys ever notice this?" And Reni says like, "Yeah, I noticed this since the first showing." I was like, "Oh,
Rennie was like,
okay."
I was there in the front row actually. American orgy. Yeah.
You know, I wholeheartedly admit that I never missed this when I saw
Oh.
this movie. I'm like, yeah.
After like 30 times of watching this, is the first time I realized that there's orgy American.
I mean,
style.
they make sure to frame it very well so you could see it. It's not like his head moves past it really quickly and you have if you're not paying attention, it's directly next to him.
Yep.
It's like,
it's to just show you how I guess dilapidated the town has become. Where at the local theater, instead of showing Ronald Reagan westerns, we're showing porn straight up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
well, that was still pretty common in the 80s. I mean, that was the height of the porno theater was the 70s, but it was still a thing in the 80s. So
I've never seen porn in the theater. I don't even know if I would have the courage to step in
there
there.
was
with, like,
well, I
a
mean, in the
giant
70s,
scope,
in the late 70s, that was a thing. That was like there was adult cinemas, and they actually had crowds, like legit crowds and stuff. And in the 80s, it kind of that slowly got. We talked about it during the Boogie Nights stream.
Yeah, I know.
But wasn't that kind of what Pee Wee Herman was kind of
Yeah.
I think he
famous
did
for,
it
is
in an
getting caught
actual
in one of
regular
those-
theater, though. I think he was just in
I
like
thought
a
it was
regular
a
cinema.
pornographic one.
I don't know.
Wait,
if that was
what?
the case, he went into a. Yeah, you can't.
Wait.
That's
I
like,
could
oh
be
man,
wrong, but
that's like being mad at somebody for going into a McDonald's and eating a burger. Like if you're
Yeah.
go in,
how dare you?
like you don't need to. It doesn't require much thought to figure out what the hell he's doing in the porno theater. Like demonetized, by the way. I've said porno way too many times in a short period of time. I'm gonna have to fight that afterwards.
So now we meet Biff and Crispin Glover, of course. So at this point, Biff has wrecked the car, and he's blaming Marty McFly's dad, of course, George McFly, because he says, "Oh man, yeah, you didn't tell me that the brakes were shot or something like that." You know, just putting the blame on him.
Blind spot.
Yeah, the car had a blind spot.
Yeah,
Even
the car
worse.
has a blind spot.
Every car has a blind spot.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's the car. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, he's like, "Oh, I told you I have your car towed all the way here, and all you have for me is a light beer."
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. It's like, are you kidding me right now?
Is the real, bully from the childhood that's gone into adulthood. And
Well, you guys, have you guys ever heard the story about the neighborhood he lived in? The kids would knock on his door, and he'd answer the door, and then they wanted him to not like hit their head, be like, "Hello, McFly," like that. He had to do that like every day.
Oh, are you talking about Tom Wilson?
Oh yeah, well we used to
Yeah.
do
Really?
Yeah, that was a whole thing because he took a break from acting for a little while, but like the people of like the kids in his town would still go up and like he would have to do the whole knocking on the head thing.
Yeah.
Wow. Poor guy.
If
I mean,
was a
he
kid,
liked it.
I'd
From
never-
what I've
I'd-
heard
I'd
about
do it
him,
for sure.
from what I've read about him, he's like a really good sport about it. He thinks it's fun. Like obviously, if he really hated it, he would stop answering his door.
True.
I would
It's
like to think
quite-
so.
Oh, sorry, I'll let you go.
No, go right ahead.
I was going to say, it's always funny when the actors who usually play bullies in movies tend to be the nicest people. Like, for example, Tom Felton, who played Draco Malfoy, he's like, most people think he's like the nicest of the cast. And with these movies as well, people love Thomas Wilson. They think, he's such a great guy, but the character he plays is such a knob.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Yeah, because he even stops, and then there's like drunk people that stop him on the street. It's like, "Oh, you're Draco Malfoy." It's like, yeah, he's cool. He's just chill.
He
with
doesn't
it.
really. Yeah, that's another one. He doesn't really do a lot of acting anymore. The only thing I remember him doing really post Harry Potter was he was the
He
douchebag.
was in that horror movie.
Well, no, he was also the douchebag in Rise of the Planet of the Apes.
Yeah,
Oh.
and he also did that weird horror movie, the Apparition. Yeah, that was it, the Apparition, in like 2012 or something.
Maybe I'll see if I can find it for later. There's actually he wrote a song too, because people would ask him the same questions over and over again about Back to the Future. So he just wrote a song answering all the questions, and I think he like performed it on one of the late night shows or something. I'll see if I can find it.
All right. Well, at this point, the car that Marty wanted to use to take on a date with Jennifer is totaled, and he's kind of pissed off about it. Right, like, deservedly so, because his dad has just taken shit from Bill that he shouldn't be taking. And we have dinner, and Uncle Joey, who likes his little, he likes being in the cage. Yeah.
That's right.
Albert
Likes being
Jones.
behind bars.
Mhm. Uncle Joey just loves it in the cage, and we meet the family. So yep,
Oh,
this is what they look
mom's
like in
drinking.
1985. Yeah.
She's a drunk. The dad's embarrassing.
I actually
He's a
like
loser.
the vodka that
Mhm.
she's drinking. It's Pop Off, which is like I don't know, like in the U.S., it's probably like the most bottom of the barrel vodka.
Oh, God.
I'm not a vodka guy. I'm a tequila man myself.
It's like $8.99 for like a liter and a half.
So basically, they just put a
Oh my
different
God.
label on a bottle of rubbing alcohol, is what you're telling me. Like,
Yeah.
Lighter fluid.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Lighter fluid sounds about right.
Oh, dude. And yeah, I guess I'm still wondering why would she even stay with him like all these years, because there would be nothing really linking.
divorce was
Them
still
together?
still kind of frowned upon at that point. It
Yeah.
wasn't.
No,
as
I mean,
I was gonna say, it's very
why would you?
taboo.
No, like why would she stay with him from youth? You get me, to the point where
Yeah.
they got married, because
that's
at this point she stays with him properly because he actually takes up his courage and fights Biff. So that's what makes her
Well-
help fall in love with her. But at this one, it's just like he was a peeping tom. The dad hit him with the car, and that was it.
Well, yeah.
Maybe
Well, it's a small
she
town.
got pregnant before like they got married, and so they got married because she was pregnant, and then they're like, oh, we should probably stay together because blah blah blah, and it just escalated from there. I don't know.
Yeah, that could be it. Yeah. Hey,
I-
Well,
Ethan.
a lot of these people.
I thought
after
that was
high
Ethan
school-
Van Sciver for a second. I was like, what? Ethan Van Driver.
It's Ethan Van Driver, okay? He drives. All right, he drives. But yeah, I don't know. And
Well,
Dark Hour, there's a
Doc-
little
Doc
treat for
actually
you on the
explains it.
table.
Ah, fuck Pepsi. Yes.
What were you saying, OTC?
So the Doc Brown actually explains why she stayed with him. It's the Florence Nightingale effect, where
Yeah.
she's falling off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah,
I get what-
thought
I get
that's
what
why
Uninspired
she fell
saying,
in
like-
love with him, not why she stayed with
Yeah,
him.
No, I
Yeah.
get that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see.
well, she
It's
had no
funny, though,
other
because-
options. Probably. I mean, she's stuck
Yeah,
in a
that
small
too.
town. She's married. Once a lot of these individuals leave high school, that's it for them. Like that was their cool days. That was where they had purpose, and just get into a marriage, get into a routine. It was a thing, and then starting to drink and starting to take mommy's little helpers.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
could also be, and I didn't really piece this together until a couple of months ago when I saw a YouTube video which was discussing this. So later on in the film, we see Biff attempt to do something, quite dark to Lorraine. So people theorize that in the original timeline, that actually went ahead, and that's what caused her to go down the route of alcoholism. So perhaps it could be that event, sort of diminished all kind of, how can I say it? Any sort of positivity or any sort of faith that she had in herself. So she just settled for George because she's so traumatized by all this stuff that's happened to her.
Jesus, that's really dark.
Makes sense.
That is,
Yeah, but it does make sense. Yeah, it's dark, but it does make sense. True.
One
or
thing
she
I've
thought
always
like
liked-
George was safe because George was such a wimp and a loser.
She could overpower
And a
George,
nice
no problem.
person,
It'd be really
yeah.
easy for her to be like, "No, I'm not interested," and throw him across the room. It's very.
Mm.
If anything, she's doing that to him. Like,
True.
he's not fighting her off. But the one thing I always loved about Lorraine as a character is how well they cover her up with makeup and make her look the different ages and stuff.
Yes.
Or in the
Yes.
third one, make her look like a different person. I've noticed this recently in life. It was something about like now people don't look as old as they did in like the 80s. Like there was something like if you were in your 40s in like 85 and you're in your 40s now, it's a really different 40.
Yeah, it's called sunblock.
Yeah. We discovered moisturizer.
Smoking,
Yeah, exactly.
in Vietnam.
Yeah,
I
true.
still can't believe that Ralph Macchio is like in his mid-60s. Like that's
I,
just not right.
He looks amazing. Yes.
Do you,
He made a
Tara,
deal
do you
with the
still have the
devil.
picture of me and Ralph Macchio by chance?
No,
I
I
look
don't.
older than Ralph
have it.
Macchio.
Yeah.
Oh,
I gotta.
I have a picture with him.
Yeah, I have a picture with him from. It was the Comic-Con during COVID, so I wasn't. I look like the worst I've ever looked in my life, and I wasn't expecting to take any pictures with the masks off. And he was like, "Absolutely not. We're taking the masks off." So it's like he looks great because he knew that shit was going to happen, and I'm like,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Ralph Macchio is just a vampire, man. We got to face it.
Ralph
Yeah, he
Macchio
looks so
is
good
young,
for his age.
is older than the Terry Silver actor.
That's right.
Wow.
And he looks way younger than the guy does.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oil of Olay.
So
See,
we
there's
go
the
and
Twin
meet
Pines.
we go and meet Doc Brown at the Twin Pines, and of course oh shit, I met you at J.C. Penney. Your name
There's still J.C. Penney.
Barely
slowly
there,
dying
still
off.
JC
barely holding on.
That's right.
It's like,
For those who don't know,
I think
that's,
Sears officially
Deborah.
went out of business. I think Sears is done, and I think it's J.C.
Sears
Penney
is
and like
done, yeah.
Nordstrom's are like the only anchor stores you see at malls anymore.
Well, it's funny
Damn.
because in
Maybe
Oh, Macy's too.
Macy's.
Macy's because they do a lot. They're kind of like a brand outside of that because they do like
Yeah.
the parades and stuff. And
Mhm.
well, there is another defunct brand that when Marty's leaving Doc Brown's to go to school in the morning, there was a Toys R Us there.
Oh,
that
damn.
one's they're trying to make a comeback with Toys R Us. I
That's
saw
right.
one.
Okay.
I saw one in they're bringing them back. There was a 3-story one in the what is it, the what the hell, where was I? In the American Dream Mall in like North Jersey. It's basically the Mall of
Really?
America. Yeah, and there's a 3-story
Oh,
one there.
wow.
They're trying to make a comeback.
Huh.
Well, shout out the fact that they're always showing clocks everywhere in time. So
Yep.
just showing
True.
up and there's
Yeah.
reminding us it's all about the time. And when he mentions the Libyans, they would never do that today. That way.
Libyans.
I mean, they were like a huge worry in the 80s because, that was like the height of Muammar Gaddafi's regime.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
True,
there
true,
was
true.
genuine errorism, if you know what I mean. But
Yeah.
I'm
You
just
can
saying-
say it. I don't care. Just because you could say terrorism.
What monetizes you?
What was it? When we were doing Last Crusade and True Pop Culture 7 kept saying Yahtzees, and I was like, just fucking say Nazi, dude. Like, I
Literally,
don't...
we have him on screen the entire movie to just say it. That's what we were telling him.
But
dude.
love the dog.
Yeah,
So,
Einstein.
originally, it was supposed to be a chimp, but they
What?
changed that. Yeah, so I googled around, and it was the time machine was a refrigerator. Einstein the dog was originally Shemp the chimp. The first
Yo.
drafts
What?
of the script
That's
had Doc
weird.
Brown owning a chimpanzee instead of a dog. The Universal executive insisted chimpanzee movies didn't make money, so they changed it.
Thank
Huh.
goodness. That would have been
Yeah,
Well, it's
weird.
more
seriously.
difficult to work with chimps too.
Okay.
I mean,
Oh,
dogs.
100%.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I would
Oh.
assume that just the cost of having to have someone who's, first of all, you have to have a trained chimp, obviously. I mean,
Mhm.
it's a lot more expensive. You need to have a trainer on there, which is probably a lot harder to come across than a dog trainer. You can go down to every city, every town has a dog trainer. I don't think every town has a chimp trainer.
Right.
True.
And
Yeah.
you probably need different licensing too, because it's an exotic animal you're bringing in.
Right.
So
Fair point.
Plus, that dog is pretty cute.
Yeah, it is.
he's a
Einstein.
good dog. I mean, he's a good dog.
My goal is to have 2 dogs because I grew up with 8 dogs, and
Oh
but
my.
I don't have them anymore. But when I live alone, my goal is to get 2 dogs, and those 2 dogs I'm gonna name them Doc and Marty, and hopefully if I get a 3rd one, I'm naming it Einstein. I've been thinking about this for
Aw.
years. So
Nice.
yeah, but of course now we get a very, 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 very sexy reveal. Probably the sexiest reveal in cinema. I mean, you know, who could fight this? Look at this beauty, man. Not Marty McFly, not Einstein, but the
The
DMC.
DeLorean.
Oh yeah, look
At a
at that.
time.
Oh man.
Beautiful.
See, we need it souped up just like that. It needs to have like everything you just saw in the back.
Definitely.
it-
I need everything. The wires, all of it. I need
That's right.
everything. Everything.
Look at his
and of course,
face, even
the
the
fusion.
dog.
Well, yeah, like I
time
was
I-
saying earlier, this is when cars were experimenting with like different door styles because the standard open horizontally door was just passe. And like that was when the Lambo doors became a thing, and I guess
Yeah.
suicide doors had already been a thing on cars, but other than that, it was always horizontal.
So,
this was
are we supposed to like determine that Dr. Emma Brown was just like hotboxing in there, or what was going on, man?
probably. I mean, I to come up with some of the shit that he came up with, you'd got to be high off your ass.
There's more.
It'd be a lot cooler if he did.
I love him.
Well, the band at the end was definitely hotboxing.
Oh, that's for sure.
I love his comedic acting, his physical acting, just the way he like bursts out of everything. His hair's everywhere and his eyes are bugging out. I love everything about this man.
Oh,
And then
another
something
thing.
has to be said about his makeup job as well, like with the
Oh,
aging
yeah.
process. Like
Really good.
I literally thought Christopher Lloyd was hella old when I saw these movies initially.
Same.
And then
Yeah.
I was like, oh wait, younger than him. Him actually looks younger. Oh, that's makeup? I mean, that's pretty freaking good for the 80s, in my opinion.
Well,
He-
that's
yeah,
it's
he-
crazy because I actually thought because the reason why in around when Piranha 3D came out, so I think that was like what 2009, 2011. He
Mhm.
was in there, and I was like, man, Christopher Lloyd hasn't aged a bit. Like he still looks old now. It's only around 2015 that I found out that it was makeup on him in Back to the Future. Because I kept Googling. I think once a year I would Google, is Christopher Lloyd still alive? 'Cause I was thinking, dude,
Oh, geez.
if he was that old in the 80s, how old must he be now? Like he's probably
Exactly.
100
Well,
or something.
because of Michael J. Fox's Parkinson's. Now, when they do like appearances together, Michael J. Fox looks older than him because
Yeah,
it's
Yes.
just,
true.
Sadly, it's true.
True.
Yeah, I mean, he actually lives 20 blocks north of me, and I guess.
Oh, just brag about it.
Well, all right, yeah.
Oh,
All right, now.
And,
Okay.
Did you have coffee
like-
together?
And what,
Yeah.
I wish.
Look,
no, but,
Spill the
can
tea.
you transfer over to your
You
phone,
can
walk 20 blocks, and see if you can get a live interview like while we're at it?
Right.
Yeah.
No, it's, my girlfriend saw him come out of but he's like already in like a wheelchair. He's just like not.
Mhm.
not
Aw,
good. Yeah, no,
that
it's
makes
really
me sad.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm surprised he was. They made an appearance last year's New York Comic Con. It was a really expensive appearance, but I was shocked that he was still even doing that stuff. Like I wouldn't, if I was in his situation, I wouldn't. I would just be like, nah. I mean, I guess
He
if
has so
it,
much money.
He's just like a
Mhm.
genuinely nice guy.
Support his family.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. And, but yeah, man, Doc Brown, Emmett Brown, he's a fantastic character. I love him. Christopher Lloyd just even the throwaway lines that you don't really pay attention to sometimes, you're like, huh? You know, when he's walking, he's like, this is heavy, Doc. It's like, why are you always talking about weight? You know, is there something wrong with the Earth's gravitational pull in the future? It's like just lines like that.
His reintroduction in the past is awesome when he like sticks his head out with the weird whatever the hell that thing is that he has on.
Oh, and so now he's explaining how the time machine works. So the experiment that he's gonna do is he's gonna send Einstein back in time. You know, that's the basic gist of it. I don't know how the hell this dude had 2 different watches synced up so perfectly. I'm sure the production team was like, that was hell.
Well, with those kind of watches, you would just hit the button. So you would hit the buttons at the same time, and it would just change the minute, and it resets the second. So it's
yes.
I used to do it with similar kind of those are like basically stopwatches. I used to do a similar thing for jiu-jitsu tournaments because it's all timed.
I always just try. I would always fuck up. One would always be.
Yeah, you just gotta make sure. You just gotta be really. You just have to make sure you hit them both at the exact same time, and it sets because the seconds are attached to the minute that you're on. So
I guess it's a skill issue on my part. All right.
Yeah, so he sends Einstein 1 minute into the future, but then they have to catch up.
Yep. And so basically, yep. And here is the thumbnail for this. And I just wanted to see his controls. His controls are pretty just basic, normal toy car controls.
Yeah, it's an RC car controller that you would have had back then. I mean, I'm sure you could dig one. Anybody could dig one out of those their attic right now.
Yep. And there he is. I love Marty's face is just looking at him like, what the fuck is going on tonight?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, we've seen some crazy shit with Doc, but nothing like this.
That's right.
Oh, I love it.
Now, of course, I do have a clip with audio, so let me pull that up. Boop, 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 boop. I think Doc Brown is gonna say it, but when it hits 88, we're about to see some serious shit.
My calculations are correct. When this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're gonna see some serious shit.
Yes.
Out of time.
That's the one shit they were allowed to say, though. That's the one that they got away with.
Oh, man. It's weird because I think it was Daniel B that was saying in the chat, like, it's the only time where we see the car come back and it's actually frozen. The rest of the time, it's not frozen.
No,
Right, yeah.
I thought whenever Marty comes back to the 80s, it's frozen, not quite as frozen over, but I thought it was pretty frozen at the end.
Yeah. No, when he goes back to the 50s, and the one thing I was thinking about last night about the ice, like now that I'm an adult and I've taken a few physics classes, it actually makes sense that it's encased in ice because of like the arrow of time. If you bring it backwards, it's basically because like if as time goes forward, everything gets chaotic and hot. But if you go back, everything gets cold because it's at a stationary point. So it actually kind of makes sense why it's because of like in physics it's called entropy, but it actually makes sense that it comes back cold.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Science.
Not technical, but
to quote Jesse Pinkman, science. Yeah, Mr. White. And so we kind of get the layout. I have a mug with this written on it. So
I'm not shocked.
That's cool.
Some of the only things I have. Well, Dark Hour, you've seen my Gremlins mug. I have the same one for Back to the Future. Then I have a couple of Back to the Future Funko Pops. I've got Doc Brown with the weird helmet in 1955 when we go see him in his house for the first time. And then I've got Marty dressed up in his usual 85 outfit. And Back to the Future, baby. So, of course, destination time, present year, and last time departed, all basically 1 minute apart. And that's just how it works. That's how it is. And we've got the flux capacitor, the reason why time travel exists. And Emmett tells Marty that the day he came up with it is the day that he hit his head on the toilet bowl or something like that.
Yeah,
he fell off the toilet.
Hit his head on the toilet.
Yeah, there you go.
And he came up with the flux capacitor. And he puts in the exact date that happened, and so we don't touch the car after that until the Libyans arrive. Now, what they do is they also set up the fact that you can only have one cartridge, go in and come back, kind of like what the Avengers did with the Endgame.
Yeah, it's like
Mhm.
it's a mechanic that allows the whole plot to happen. Basically,
Yep.
we can't have enough for it to work again.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And the Libyans, they arrive and they kind of 50 cent, they 50 cent Emmett Brown, give him, many
Now
men.
notice, like in this scene, you guys, it actually shows. I thought it shows like a little bit of blood in the bullet holes,
Mm.
but then whenever Marty comes back at the end, you don't see the blood,
Yep.
which is another kind of continuity thing, which I thought was pretty cool. When I rewatched this the other day, I was like, "Oh,
Yep.
there's another one."
And you
He,
see up there
he
by the left
landed.
armpit, there's blood. Absolutely.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's his overalls or something. It just looks like it kind of looks like it because you can see the traces of orange over here on his on his clothes. So it's I think it's kind of there to purposely fool the viewer.
I mean, it could
Oh.
be.
Interesting. Yeah, it's a good point.
And,
I remember being traumatized as hell when it happened.
Yeah.
You're just watching it and they just get completely gunned down. The doc does it.
Teresa to this day does
Yeah.
not trust the Libyans.
Well, I mean, there's a huge murder happening.
Yeah.
Getting at this comedy.
Well, there's a lot of
Awful.
stuff about that from the 80s. So, like, the Libyans were actually trying to get nuclear weapons back then. And then at the end of, what was it, Rambo 3, they, like, thanked the Mujahideen.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I do have the clip of the Libyans chasing Marty, and of course, we're gonna go into the past this time so that we can eventually go back to the future. All right.
Yeah.
Let me play the clip.
See if you bastards can do 90.
I like
I mean,
the
What did he
miniature that they crash
expect?
into.
Like, he was going to go into that photo booth.
Yeah.
He wasn't making any effort to go around it.
He was gonna crash either way. Just said, "Fuck it."
Like an airplane.
Stuff Argentum.
Hey, Argentum. Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
Seriously, it's
The kid
crazy.
is magazine. I love it. Well, I love the way that the scene was all done. The way they would zoom in on like the time. We see that the times change. The music theme kind of comes in that shows, hey, we're about ready to time travel, kind of a thing.
Mm.
And then boom, we get into this typical 50s scene with the mom with the curlers, the kid with the pigtails, and the boy with his sci-fi magazine, because that was a huge thing at
Yep.
that time. And then he comes out. I just love
And he
it.
has he has like a torch instead of a normal flashlight that you would have in the 80s.
Yes.
And a lantern. And
And
so
they
Z's kind of making a point here where he says it's a separate timeline where Doc Brown dies in our Twin Pines universe, and it offshoots into the Lone Pine universe where Doc reads the letter. So technically, Doc is dead
Yes.
because
Well,
the
yeah,
timeline
it's
is
always it's an
separate.
alternate timeline. It skews.
No.
Man, they killed him. They killed him.
Well, that's why I said I don't remember if we were live yet when I said it, but there are some continuity issues or plot holes with this, but they're ignorable until they make the sequels and they highlight them. That's the problem with it when you get to the second movies. They start highlighting the issues that were ignorable in the previous film.
Yeah. Shoot it. He's mutated into human form.
Oh dear.
I mean, so Marty travels back in time, and he's still in America, and I guess they give him the most American welcome possible, where it's just like, yeah,
Oh yeah,
fuck
it's a death
shoot
link.
the motherfucker.
I love it. Hey, that's what I would do if I had a shotgun like that. Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Little
Space
buckshot.
puppies from Pluto. I love it. There it is.
It's also like nice the fact that they attacked while they were transferring the plutonium, so it forced him to go into the car in the suit. So it's like, yep, he can't look like a normal human being at this point. And plus,
No.
you wouldn't see hazmat suits every day in the 1950s. So,
As is per tradition, we will now fire upon you.
Get off my lawn.
boom. Yep, and of course he takes out the tree, the pine. And of course, that's what becomes Lone Pine Mall instead of Twin Pines Mall. So we are at the Lion Estates. The Lion Estates where, of course, he's supposed to be living, but it's not built yet. So this is the first time where he's really thinking about if he time traveled or not. Now he does. Marty McFly is a strong motherfucker, dude. Because pushing this alone and having it.
I mean, when if you put a car in neutral, it's that. Yeah, that initial push is the hardest. Once it gets going, though, the weight it takes itself.
Yeah, but I mean, this is a time traveling DeLorean. This shit must be heavy as fuck compared to a normal car.
Yeah.
I wonder what
You see what I mean?
DeLorean.
I'm sure Doc Brown added a ton of stuff in this. That's why it would make it heavier than the normal DeLorean. Because I can push my little Opel Corsa 97 for sure. Because I'm like 2 heads taller than the car, so I could push it easily by myself. But this, I don't think so.
Curb weight of 2,700 pounds, 1,233 kilograms. He is pushing he does have the weight to the back. Apparently, it has a 62% rear distribution for its weight, 38% to the front. So pushing it from the front the weight would start to take itself over. It was
Just out of
overweight for its era, though.
Wasn't it heavier with all the extra stuff that Doc added to it? Like
Yeah.
the flux capacitor and all the other
That's
stuff.
what I'm thinking too.
So I'm thinking that would make it a lot heavier. That's just
I once the FBI gets hold of my search history, they're like, "What the fuck is this guy always looking up weird shit for?" And it's always around the same time on a Sunday.
Sometimes you just suspend your disbelief. I mean, it's
Marty's just a strong motherfucker. That's my belief at this point.
Yeah.
he's using his body weight there.
he's
Mhm.
small
And-
but mighty.
And he's wearing like the down puff jacket, which everybody thinks is a life.
It's the life preserver.
Yes.
Where'd the ship go down? Where's the shipwreck?
I guess like when the hell were puff jackets invented? Like 70s, maybe?
I don't know. Like when did it become a style? That's the thing.
I think in the 80s, right? It was really
For
big.
sure. I'm not even
Well,
sure it was around in the 70s.
No, it was definitely the 80s. That was when the starter jackets started to become really popular. And then eventually they really peaked in the 90s with the NFL starter jackets that were the over the top, the giant pockets. Yeah, so that they started doing that kind of stuff in the 80s.
Yeah, he's got the he's got the 80s strength. That's pretty much it.
He ate his Wheaties.
That's right.
And drank his
milk. He drank his milk. So let me play this. We can unmute ourselves when I play it. So we are back at Hill Valley. Yep, any seat for
Barbara
50 cents.
Stanwyck and Ronald Reagan.
Yep.
If you notice that.
And back when Texaco, of course, you had people to attend to your cars. You didn't do this shit yourself.
I mean, those cars. Now he wouldn't be able to push one of those motherfuckers.
No, that shit must have been like
No.
a ton.
Look, it's all patriotic, American flag.
It all looks really, really, really good. So it's nice and
instead of
bright.
run down.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Really, really bright.
A 48 Ford curb weight is 3,200 pounds, 3,300 pounds almost.
I want that red
Yeah,
one.
that's almost 600 pounds heavier than the DeLorean would have been.
Man. Look, the grass is green. You've got no hobos sleeping on the benches. Pretty much
That's
it.
right.
No porn theater.
Yeah, no
No.
porn theater. Yep.
Yeah,
That's
clock's
the
still
movies right
working?
now. Yep. The clock is working. That's actually the number one thing is like what the clock is actually working. So man, now it's serious. And of course, November 5th, 1955 is the date. So he goes to the bar. Well, not the bar, the diner, sorry. And
This
Like,
high
you
school
go-
kid goes to a bar, you know.
to a bar, yeah. especially considering like the American drinking age is 21.
No,
Yeah.
not till the 80s with Nancy Reagan, like Just Say No and all that crap.
Oh my god!
Back in the day, yeah, it used to be 18.
Yeah,
Like,
back in the day, it was
easily-
European standards, huh?
Exactly.
My
But
mother
Marty is
actually-
still
my mo-
17, so he couldn't drink.
So- My mother
Oh.
actually told me a story recently. She was like, she had a very unique experience of having to have her first beer 3 times because as she got older, they kept changing the age
Oh,
Don't-
past where she was.
That's nuts.
for a while, it was determined by the state, and then I
Yeah.
think
Right.
And then it became a federal law in after a while. So
Yeah.
Yikes! Oh man!
he's like, "Give me a Pepsi free or something," and he's like, "I'm not going to give it to you free."
Free.
And then he asks for a tab. He's like, "Well, you got to get something if you want to open a tab."
But
Yeah.
he's saying tab the soda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never actually had
Back
tab.
in
I
the
don't even know what it
day,
tastes
yeah.
like. I've never had
It's
tab.
gross.
Yeah,
Do not
tab
recommend.
Tab was like liquid cancer.
Oh.
So it was just an American drink. That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Now we've got George in the back over there, and Marty's trying to call Emmett because, of course, he knows that he's still in the town, and he rips it out of the phone book, and we see
There's
young
one.
Biff. Yeah, go ahead.
There's one thing. His watch, which is a digital like calculator watch, starts beeping.
Oh yeah,
When the I guess the owner of the establishment walks by, and he's like, oh, let me cover myself, cover up his watch.
because you think it's a bomb.
Right, exactly. But
Like,
it's
what is that?
The funnious thing is that it's a calculator watch, which was like the nerdiest shit back in the day.
This pretty much sums up all American products, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
I
Delicious
remember
poison.
getting a calculator watch. Yeah, it was a big deal.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I've
even
never.
when
I
was
don't even. Do
growing
they
up.
even sell tab anymore? I don't even know if they still do.
I don't think so, unless it's a nostalgia item that
Yeah, it might
all of
be. Let
us
me
now
see.
are buying because we are buying
I think
our
it's
80s
very
stuff.
regional in terms of like what.
It was discontinued in 2020. So yeah, it was.
man.
COVID took out tab.
COVID killed tab.
But it was a Coke product, so I approve.
Oh my goodness.
Of course, we've got
Young Biff.
young Biff. We got Billy Zane in the back.
Hey,
you know,
yeah.
going to become an asshole.
And,
in
and
Titanic,
also,
too.
don't forget, we have a cameo from Golden Age Geek right down the right over there.
Yep.
Is where-
We're in the 3D glasses.
that guy would have such a headache all day.
Oh, dude, for sure. Definitely. And George McFly, Marty McFly, and Think McFly, Think. And that's who we have. So yeah, bullying, of course, just how Biff does usually. Biff being Biff. And
Yeah.
I love the just Michael J. Fox's reaction the entire scene. It's just he's not even speaking. He's just like, huh? Just taking all of this in.
Right.
Yeah.
Completely jaw dropped.
What's up, Jacob?
Great Scott.
And Mayor Goldie Wilson. Well, Mayor. I like the sound of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
technically,
The best part is what the owner of the establishment said.
yes, I call her
yes,
Mayor.
racist.
That'll be the
Yeah.
day.
The day, right?
Yep. Oh man.
A little
So-
bit of trivia. They were playing Davy Crockett during this scene, and the singer for it just passed away. He played Doug Williams on Days of Our Lives. He was really
Someone
young.
someone got wind that there's a black mayor and the cops were just called. I just heard that.
I heard the siren.
Sorry, that's New York City for you.
Oh man. And so technically, Marty McFly is the reason why he became mayor, because he sort of just did Inception, where he planted the idea in his head, which he does a lot in this movie. Technically, you can say that Marty McFly was the Tony. Well, he made that kid become Tony Hawk, I guess.
Oh, dear.
That could probably be
Oh my
headcanon.
gosh. Could
Uh,
be. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. What were you saying, Dark Hour?
I was gonna say I don't remember where I heard it, but there was I don't know if it was a movie, a podcast. I can't remember what it was from, but somebody had like a theory that the movie was originally written as a white guy goes back in time and it tells black people how to make their lives successful. And you think about it, like Chuck Berry at the end and all that stuff. Yeah.
Oh, here's
Let me see if I can.
Tom.
Let me see if I
Yes,
can
that is
find
a
it.
peeping Tom. Because
Yeah, shout
while
out
they were
to
at the
Shout out
Yeah,
to
go ahead,
50
go ahead.
bras here, because
Mm.
bras were so much better. I mean, they were much sturdier and they were made well and they were measured. So 2 thumbs up to the underwear.
Now they're just made to come off quick. That's pretty much it.
Exactly.
Yeah, I would say that's true.
But I love how it just puts Marty's how their parents met into perspective, because his mom always said, "Oh, he met me because his dad hit him with a car after he fell out of a tree." It's like,
what were you doing up there? Bird watching?
He's a peeping Tom. It's like, what?
He's a pervert. Well, what's she doing putting on her underwear in front of the window? We all know if you do that, it's to show off.
True. And at this point, of course, the dad arrives and he knocks the shit out of.
He's dead.
Yeah, he would have been in a coma.
That's for sure. Definitely. Yeah, it's pretty. Yeah, he would have been smushed at this point.
Good old concussion right there.
You really feel the pain though, because Marty
hits
hits
his
his
head
head,
Yeah.
and it's like a very weird sound where it does feel really real, and then he lifts his head up and then back down again, and he does it with such force. You think, oh, like you feel that just watching it.
Oh man. And well, he wakes up the next morning and it's his mom. There he is.
Incest time.
And she's young now. She's good looking. Lea Thompson. I think she still looks good today, man. Lea Thompson is a babe. That's my opinion. But yeah, she's a pervert herself. That's the best thing you can say, man. She's a really horny teenager.
Which is weird, right? Because she was the one lecturing, like, Marty and his brother and sister on like being too easy, and it's like, I never drank, I never parked, I never did this, and it's like, you literally did all of those things when you were younger.
Yep.
Parents lie about that. I mean, she was looking at his underwear, for crying out loud.
One was unconscious. Yeah, she took off his pants. Just to stare at him and call him Calvin Klein. It's like, I've never seen purple underwear before. It's like, what?
How many people's underwear have you looked at?
Mom, you're so young or thin. And
thin. He says thin.
Thin. Yeah. That was the one. Yeah, you're so thin. It's the other one.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then and my favorite in the second one, you're so big.
Huge.
There it is.
There's Uncle Joey.
These bars, kid. That
cries whenever we take him out.
Yeah, that's like a great throwaway line. It's like, yeah, he cries whenever we take him out. He's like, all right, cool. And of course, is that that is Pamela Voorhees, right? I mean, the actress that plays.
I think so. Yeah,
I think so.
Well,
I think it is her.
Like the original one, right?
Yeah, the original one.
The kid wearing the Davy Crockett hat was in the show with Kevin Arnold, The Wonder Years.
Wonder Years.
He was the older brother.
That's where he's from.
Yeah, he's Wayne Arnold.
Oh, yes. Oh, and he's wearing the Davy Crockett hat too that all the boys wore back then.
And of course, they're watching a show. Well, the same show that Marty watched when he was having dinner with his family, and he says that he knows this one, which has become a meme at this point. Yet,
exactly. It's not on a rerun.
How could you have seen this? It's brand new.
I would have stayed there. It's like, yeah, it's a rerun. What's a rerun? Oh, damn!
You'll find out.
Yeah.
Like, how many TVs do you have? 2. No one has 2 TVs. He's lying. He's
lying.
Around. Yeah. Oh man. What a cool looking dinner. That's for sure. It's a shame that he didn't eat any much. I would definitely stick for dinner for sure. Well, if my mom was touching my
by the way, that car would have hit him at 6,100 newtons of force, which would have been enough to kill him. I just did the math.
Jesus. Yeah, he would be dead.
That's what I was doing that whole time. I was just sitting here like, okay, average curb weight, how fast was it going? Probably based on what kind of street it was,
Well, that's why they replaced Eric Stoltz, man. He wanted to go full method. They kept
he actually was like really hit me with that car. Put it full curb weight. I don't want any of that.
Yeah, we're getting all the physics in this discussion.
And yeah, so he leaves to Doc Brown's house because his mom is being very sexually harassing at the dinner table.
Well, speaking of, we did mention Eric Stoltz. I mean, in this scene, it would have been so method. He would have actually been like explaining to all of them what the future is. He would have been like, "No, I have to explain everything because I'm being method."
Yeah.
Yes, I'm trying to figure out how dead Marty would be. He would probably. There's several theories that he dies multiple times in the movies, and that it's the Doc Brown like changes the timeline.
I see. I don't know, man. I think Eric Stoltz would in this scene. I don't know if he'd be able to sell it well. He'd probably be really emo, you know, that type of thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude was just miscast. I mean, and sounds like, and it's such a pain in the ass. I could see that cranky dad just being shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Wearing his life preserver. And Eric Stoltz wouldn't have been wearing the life preserver actually, because if you look at a lot of the behind the scenes,
Yeah, he was
pictures-
wearing something else, right?
Yeah, I think he was wearing like a normal black leather jacket or something like that. So yeah,
They might have changed it depending on because that was mostly test footage. They may have changed it for the actual like filming though.
True.
Maybe.
Marty should be having his jacket off. I mean, come on. People take off their jacket at the dinner table.
That is true. Considering he was just in a shirt the scene before, that means that he actually put everything on to sit at the dinner table. Yeah.
He wants to put on as much clothes as possible to sit next to his mother right now. He's just like, do you have a couple extra pairs of pants that I can put on while I'm here?
She's just staring at him, dude. It would be so horrendous to be sitting next to someone staring at you like this the entire
He would
day.
never recover from this. I don't care what how he fixes the time. He would never ever recover mentally from this experience.
Yeah,
And
I think it would be traumatic. It's like, oh my god, my
mom is a whore.
hit on me.
Therapy forever,
weird.
or he'd be the one hitting the vodka.
True.
Yeah, they go back to the future, and he's just like, you don't know what I've seen, Mom. You don't know what I've seen.
That's why they gave him Jennifer and the 4x4 is like to compensate. It's like, all right, cool. Maybe you can forget.
A
this
lot of
longer.
people often argue, and I know I'm jumping way ahead, that they would probably be a little weirded out by their son coming out looking exactly like the guy they knew in high school. But actually, the thing that they probably wouldn't remember what he looked like. There was no pictures of him or anything. It was a guy they knew for a couple days.
That's it.
The thing that they probably would have remembered though would have been they would have remembered his name was Calvin Klein, and as soon as that became an actual brand, they would have been like, "That's weird. Didn't we know a guy named that in high school?" That's probably what would have happened.
Yeah.
Well, you know, he was there for only exactly a week. So
yeah, like how many people did you know when you were 16 for a week, and you remember exactly what they looked like when you're in your 30s, 40s? Like, it's not gonna.
No.
Totally agree. So I do love the
landmark. Actually,
I want that house.
Well, it's actually in researching this, like just something popped up. It's a famous landmark called the Gamble House in Pasadena.
The Gamble House. That sounds like a cool ass place.
Yeah,
that was his day, Blackjack Man.
Well, I do love the fact that once he arrives, the first thing that you see is he arrives in front of it. You see the garage. You think that the garage is the house because it's quite big, and then it just pans to this huge mansion, and you're like, dude, Emmett Brown is loaded.
Yeah.
And, whoa.
That's where my brain went with it. It's like, he's rich? What the hell?
Yeah, same.
Yeah, but then he blows his family fortune on building the time machine.
Yep. And there he is. Dr. Emmett Brown from 1955. Yeah, this is the Funko Pop that I have. Yeah, it has the huge thing on him. It's nice. Yeah. And don't tell me where you're from. Don't tell me what anything. I'm gonna read your mind, but that shit doesn't work for sure. So Emmett Brown is just magically has smoke appearing every time he's on screen. That's pretty cool, which I love.
Like, it's the week. Sorry, I don't know if I could say that. But yes,
you can say whatever you want. I can always remove it later if it's a problem.
Well, it's like, well, who's president in 1985? Ronald Reagan.
The actor.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of Family Guy, by the way. But there is the one reverse episode, one reverse joke of that where Peter goes back in time and asks who the president is, and he says Ronald Reagan, and he's like, Ronald Reagan, the actor, he's like, you should know that. You're from the future. Like,
Yes, I think I saw that episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true because when my dad used to tell me, it was like, oh, Ronald Reagan was president of America. It was like, Ronald Reagan, like the dude who acts, like the actor. It was like, yeah. It was like, I was genuinely confused as a kid. I was like, how? He says, well, dude, Arnold became the fucking governor of California. So I was like,
That's right.
Fair point. Now he does show him the picture, which of course, big plot point. Now. There it is. The beautiful
Class of
family
1984.
picture. Yep. And now, so he doesn't believe him, and he goes all the way back to his garage. And the reason why he starts to believe him is because he tells him about the story of how he came up with the flux capacitor and how he invented time travel, which
And
happened
why his head is
tonight.
injured.
Yep, exactly. And there it is. The flux capacitor with X plus Y X R1315. I don't know if this shit makes any sense, but science. That's how we do it. And so so he brings him to the DeLorean, and what they do is they push it all. Well, I mean, they tow it secretly back to his garage so that they can work on it. And he also shows him the footage of the night before. Well, the night before for Marty about what happened. And Doc Brown is actually just pretty surprised of a portable camcorder, which, when you think of it, camcorders haven't existed for that long. Well, portable in terms of everyone can own and film their own lives, which, man, blows my mind to this day.
I love when he goes, "That's me. I'm an old man."
Yeah.
Cracks me up every time. I don't know why, and it's so silly, but I just always find it cute.
Yeah. Nice shout out to JVC over there pointing towards us. Nice product placement. Yeah. And save the clock tower. So what they're trying to do is they need the 1.21 gigawatts of energy, and they don't know where they're going to get it from because, it's 1955. They don't have plutonium. And so he says, hey, I got to go back because there's not even for his family. It's just because, man, I got a cute girl waiting for me. It's like, Jennifer. All right, look, she gave me her number and everything. Okay.
I've just thought of
reasonable.
something very weird. So Christopher Lloyd was 47 when he made this movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so how old is Doc Brown supposed to be? Because he can't be 47 in 1985, otherwise he'd be 17 right here.
Yeah.
Mm.
Maybe like 50s, 60s. I mean, that's a
Ooh.
stretch, but he did look pretty young. Like,
They try to be ambiguous with the ages of both him and the principal, and just be like, these guys look the same always.
I think here he would have probably been in his, let's say, no, well, he has really white hair. But we could chalk that up to
40.
the science experiments fucking up his hair.
So then, he'd be like around 70 in 1985.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Yeah, that's true. Huh. Yeah, I could see it. But, saving the clock tower struck by lightning. And so that's their 1.21 gigawatts right there. And exact time, exact place, exact date. It's 1 week ahead. But
It's like,
now...
I got to go
Yeah.
back. I got a girl. And he's like, is she pretty?
Yes. Men will be men. That's how it is.
right?
But, of course, the Photoshop is coming through. And getting erased. So the main issue isn't the fact that they need to be there at the exact spot and time, but the main issue is that he has to get his parents to go together because he's realized that he took his father's place in terms of being hit by the car. So, that's where our proper main 1955 plot begins. And so they started the Hill Valley High School. Yep. Go ahead.
Ter, I just saw in the chat that it is your birthday today.
No. It's my birthday on Tuesday.
Ah, okay.
Happy
Well,
early
happy early
birthday.
birthday.
Thank you.
I moved the schedule around so his favorite movie was the closest one to the.
Oh,
Who said
that is
happy birthday?
cool.
Oh, thank you, Eclectic Goat. Thank you. Yeah, we scheduled this so that it would be the stream that we did just like closest to my birthday.
Closest one I could pull off.
Yeah, thank you.
I couldn't really do one on Tuesday.
Yeah. So I shall be 23 ripe old age of
getting so old, man.
pain.
Oh my God,
Uh,
still. I keep forgetting how young you are because you have such an old soul.
Oh, thank
So-
you.
He's more
thank
mature
you.
than me. I'm the.
And of course, we're at beautiful Hill Valley High School, and yeah, I love the style, man. Bicycles everywhere too. You notice that?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Love it.
Those
Yeah.
those kind of
Marty's
bicycles. Oh, go ahead.
Marty's like, oh, they really cleaned this place up.
Yep.
Those kind of bikes made a huge return like a few years,
Yeah.
like several years back. The like banana, what do they call it? Banana seat style or.
Well, you see them down the Jersey Shore all the time.
Oh yeah, all the time. That's like a huge thing. That it's like a retro bike community now. I mean, with
I thought you only saw Paulie near the Jersey Shore, man.
Oh, yeah.
Oh man, but yeah, well here you only see. Actually, shit, no, I have a bike like this in the garage. Yeah, I actually do have one. I never managed to drive it because of the handlebars. They're annoying.
Oh yeah, the like arced back toward you.
Oh yeah, I can't do that stuff. 'Cause
Once you're used to once you're used to like a straight handlebar, it's hard to manipulate like that.
Yep. Amelia Bedelia says, "Isn't this where they filmed Buffy?" I don't know. I haven't seen Buffy. Are
Possibly.
you talking about the movie or the TV show Buffy? Maybe the movie. Possibly. Dark Hour. Look it up.
I'm on
I
it.
hear you clicking away. And of course, a slacker will, slacker dad, slacker son, and principal is always here telling them,
It's a little
Mr.
bit of hair.
Strickland. Yeah, tiny bit of hair. Tiny bit of hair.
Yeah.
They probably use some nice tough glue to patch it up there. And of course, George McFly getting bullied, and Marty is really trying to get them to get together, but she barely sees George. She's completely infatuated with Marty, which, I mean, dude, everyone is dressed so well. That's one thing I really love about the 55.
Yeah, apparently it was.
Yeah.
It was also the same building used for the high school in Gremlins too.
Oh,
Gremlins as well, not Gremlins 2, the movie.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Ladies and gentlemen, youth, we need to bring this style back, man. We need to bring back
A lot more
dressed.
classy than the way we dress nowadays.
Mhm.
I
Oh,
agree.
that's for sure.
Yeah.
Bring back hats.
Oh yeah, I'd rock a fedora. That's for sure. Definitely.
There's some
Yeah, but then you
there's
wouldn't
some
be able to
negative
tell who's really
Hats.
bald and who's not.
That's true.
there's a lot of negative connotation with people who wear fedoras for hipster fedora style in the United States. Like there's a lot of that.
Funny story. My senior prom was actually Enchantment Under the Sea.
Yay!
Oh, that's pretty cool. I wish mine was like that.
Yeah.
Man, my prom was cool, but we didn't play Johnny Be Good, so it was kind of a bummer.
That's
'Cause,
right.
I'm originally from Sayreville, New Jersey, which is Bon Jovi's hometown, and so there's a yearly tradition to play Bon Jovi music at the prom.
I bet that was fun.
Fun Jovi rules.
Dude, I can see Dark Hour on stage. I'm wanted, dead or alive.
Yeah. Be
Well,
there,
it's-
be square. I still use "Be There, Be Square" from seeing that in this.
Usually the one is Living on a Prayer. That's usually the mandatory one, and it's like whatever else kind of shows up, but Living on a Prayer, because
Sounds
it's
about
like
right.
you can visit all the locations and stuff from all of his songs. So
No, that's pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, they're going to the what was Doc Brown to call it, a mating ritual or some shit like that. It's like, yeah, this is we need a gathering, a social gathering, and of course the posters for the Enchantment Under the Sea dance everywhere, and so that's what they're gonna do. This is where they first kiss, and this is where their relationship blossoms into Marty McFly and his siblings. So, yep, that's the goal. And I do love the fact that they have Marty McFly learning about George McFly, and Crispin Glover, phenomenal actor in this. I think his facial expressions really, really, really good. And just the fact of Marty McFly saying, "Hey, I didn't know that you were a creative dude." It's like learning little aspects of his dad's life. Well, learning that he was a peeping Tom also kind of.
I mean, you have to be creative to be a peeping Tom. You got to figure out a good angle, a good vantage point. You got to be you got to be able to put some forethought into that.
Well, that was the inspiration behind this movie, wasn't it? It was the idea was if you could go back and see your parents when they were in the school, what would they be like? So, yeah,
It's true.
Yeah, you
And,
see him.
My
slowly
dad
starting
was
to
getting
admire
arrested
him.
all the time. So my father was no joke. My father was arrested multiple times when he was in high school, but his father was the police captain in Jersey City, and
wow.
so it just he lucked out. He got worse treatment at home for it.
No wonder you're like 1% black, Dark Hour. I see where it comes
Oh
from.
yeah. It's the Nigerian in me. You ever get an email from me? That's definitely me trying to get money. I have the money. I'm good for it. It's promised.
And of course, hey, Billy Zane isn't in this shot. Oh,
Mhm.
well, and so yeah, so
He
Biff
shows
is,
up again later, I think, at the dance.
He does. he
Yeah,
does.
and during the shit scene, right?
Yep,
I
he's
believe
there.
so.
I'm trying to
he's in
remember
it.
because he's more prominent on screen in the second one.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Because he was a
'Cause
bigger
he was a
name at
little
that
bit-
point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
He was a bit more well known. Yeah.
Of course, Biff being the grapist that he is, he just sits her down on his lap and it's like, hey. But at this point, she slaps him, so that's why they're all reacting like this. I love the extra on the left. She's like, oh God.
Well, I actually have an embarrassing story about this.
Go on.
So
Tell us.
I think it was about
That's
a
my
year
job
ago,
around here
right?
usually. But
Someone posted a photo of Lorraine and her friend and this woman on the left, right? And someone said like, oh, Lea Thompson in the 80s looks very hot, this is this. And I said I think the one to her left is actually better looking, and Lea Thompson likes that reply from me.
really?
Wow.
Did you ask her if you should have asked her if she could hook you up, man?
All I know, I'm pretty Lea Thompson for a little while recently. It was right around the election time. She was going completely crazy because what's her
Yes.
ex-husband? Her ex-husband is I can't remember, but he was very into the Trump stuff, and she was like, I can't believe I almost married this guy, and people were like, okay, cool.
Yeah. Like whatever.
Or no, it was her former fiance, not husband. Sorry.
Oh.
Hey, Dark Hour, I apologize. I've got to bail. So
That's
I want
fine.
to say thank you
Yeah, no
for
problem.
inviting me, and I've enjoyed talking with you all, and I'll see you all in cyberspace.
Oh, no
Yeah,
problem.
hell yeah.
Yeah,
Take
nice
care.
meeting you.
Very, very
Have a
relaxed.
good one,
around here.
Teresa.
Okay, thank you.
Bye.
Okay,
All right.
We'll
And so-
slide.
And so now, of course, they're about to exchange fists, but Mr. Strickland is just, hey, you can't fight over here. And so Biff just is, what is it? Make like a
I'll
tree.
Get out of here.
Get out of here.
Yeah, he never
Okay.
gets them right. I think I prefer the one with the screen door on a battleship. It's like a submarine.
That's right.
And so he really tries to convince George to do it, and George says that no human can convince him to go after Lorraine, of course. And so he needs convincing from Edward Van Halen and the Spaceman. Okay. Boom. So technically, in this universe, George invents Star Wars and Star Trek. It's what I understand, or he invents whatever is a mix between those two. So that's pretty cool. And yeah, George is just there waking up in the morning with a huge boner. Maybe that's probably thinking about.
Yeah, I was going to say that, but at first I was like, and then I decided not to. But you took it over for me. So.
We don't know.
I love
Man.
how they say Darth Vader from Planet Vulcan. I was like, oh,
Mhm.
I see what you did there.
I mean,
Yep.
I think all the either the Star Wars fans or the Trekkies or both would like make their head explode if you combine those two.
Yeah, Daniel B says it. Yeah, George learns to admire Marty for how free-spirited he is, and Marty learns to see the person who he could become if he's not willing to make a demo and play in front of everyone. Yep, that's true. If Marty decides to stop being the class clown and take himself seriously, then he can be something better. And George, of course, he learns from there. It's really, really well said, man. And yeah, so of course the next day, drinking some nice Pepsi Cola. Okay.
which his dad opens for him because he was
Mm-hmm.
struggling to open the bottle.
Yep.
Well,
And
yeah,
then he
'cause
just pops it open on that little bottle opener or whatever.
Yeah, because it was at that point we had in the 80s the twist bottle existed, but in the 50s it didn't. So you had to open with a bottle opener.
And it was a nice father-son moment.
Yeah, it was.
Well, that's one of the that's one of the things is that they subtly, and it becomes less subtle later, but they kind of are aware, like on a guttural level, that something about him is connected to them. They just can't figure it out the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think that's really well said, because there's also when she finally kisses Marty, she's like, yeah, it feels weird as if you're kissing a brother.
Yeah, and that's when they become less subtle about it. But throughout the entire movie, there's these little subtle moments where they're kind of treating him like a kid, almost like a kid brother, you know, even though he's the one helping them.
Yep. And so of course he's motivating George McFly to go, and he's saying, yes, you're my destiny. But George your density. Yeah, George McFly, he's fucking it up whenever he goes. Look at the extra's face, man. It's like, what the fuck are you saying, man? This is exactly how some girls will react. Yeah. They actually react whenever you pop up to ask your number or something like that. And,
I don't think you have the frame of it because it's just gone. But the funniest moment in this movie for me is when George goes milk, chocolate, and it just comes out of nowhere, just flies towards him.
he just chugs for like what? He literally takes 2 gulps and then just drops the glass. Like he just wipes it out and it starts pimp walking. Like,
I love those old school milkshake glasses though.
Oh, hell yeah!
You could beat someone to death with one of those. They were like that real thick glass.
Dude, yeah, it's true. Now that you mention it, yeah, I remember. You just couldn't tap that. It's like,
well, yeah, they were designed to hopefully survive a fall a little bit better because all the floors were like marble. So you know
that and to keep your milkshake cool.
Yeah, and it was insulated. There was a lot. They're just better made. It was.
Yeah. Well, that's because it was made in America versus
back when the American glass industry was there. Now it's like, oh. And so he tries to ask her out, and I love this shot because you can just see the absolute glimmer in Crispin Glover's eyes. Like, yeah, this dude
great
is
framing shot too. The way that they frame this shot is they do it several times throughout multiple movies, but where right over the right of the screen, usually the left shoulder or something of the actor, where you would generally drift your vision is where the next portion of the scene comes in. They do it a lot.
I think it's interesting because whenever we go back to 1955, the staging and blocking is very reminiscent of films of that era specifically. And then when we switch to 1985, it becomes a bit more modern. Well, modern for 1985 standards, which I guess you can only really leaded glass.
Yes, there was. They used to mix lead in with the glass.
Leaded gasoline.
That's one of the reasons it was so heavy duty.
It's like it's one of those things that you only notice if you've watched a ton of 80s movies and a ton of 50s movies as well. You can just tell that they had pure love for 50s movies because a ton of it looks like actual sets. And that's the thing that I appreciate about old movies is that you can tell that it's a set because they want it to be more theatrical than
it's not just the blocking and the framing and all that. It's also the lighting. They changed the lighting a lot from the 85 scenes the lighting is much more, I guess what you would call modern for the time. It was darker.
It's just darker.
It looked everything. I don't want to call it gritty because that's not the term I would use, but it definitely looked more like a real world room you would walk into. Whereas this looks, like you said, it almost looks exactly like if you walked into a commercial.
Yep. Yeah. I think it comes from the color palette. Not only that, but everyone's costumes as well, because the costume design, it's all very, very bright colors. And so since this was filmed on film, it manages to reflect better. So it's just it just looks better in general. And Yeah,
The
go
one
ahead.
thing I just thought about, if you go back to the previous frame,
Yep.
with the guy with the 3D glasses. So I once read an article that like 3D movies have like this 30-year time span. Like they were trying to do it in the 50s,
Oh yeah,
didn't
they
really
were.
work. Then they tried to do it in the 80s, didn't really work.
Yeah.
30 years later, we get Avatar. And I guess like the
Mm.
next time around is going to be like 2040. They're going to try to
Yeah, if you
bring
look,
3D.
Probably,
now
yeah.
you mentioned the 80s, yeah, because what was it? It was like Friday the 13th,
Yeah.
3D. They had one of the
Yes,
I think it was-
Slasher Fred was talking about it in the chat earlier in the stream. But yeah, it's true because I even mentioned 13 Ghosts that we covered. The original 13 Ghosts from the 60s was promoted. If you watch the actual trailer for the 60s 13 Ghosts, it was promoted as a proper 3D movie where we're going to distribute glasses and you're going to see the ghosts only through the glasses. You know, it was sort of that
I feel like
novelty
they
aspect
finally
of
have
it.
perfected the glasses.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of perfecting the when you use 3D, because a lot of times the movies don't need they're just
don't need
adding
to.
it for the sake of adding it. It doesn't add anything to the experience.
Mhm.
Those old ones, like the ones in Golden's profile picture, were terrible. They just made first of all, it would give you headaches. Like the
It'll give
current
you a
ones
headache. That's true.
are still not that great because you're wearing sunglasses in a theater. But
Yeah.
the current ones are at least don't screw with your the color palette on both eyes. So
Yeah.
I need to go see
Yeah,
a
but don't
movie
you-
in 3D.
They mess with the angle of
yeah,
your
they make
eyes.
you go cross-eyed basically.
Yes. Well, but don't you guys feel like the old school 3D movies felt more 3D than some of the newer ones that came out in recent years?
Well, it's
I
'cause
just feel like
it's done after in post now. It's not really
Yeah.
filmed in a way that's decided. They just decide after the fact, like, hey, let's put this in 3D as well, and then they just
I
do it.
mean, that
Well,
makes
some movies are
sense, and-
shot with like two cameras
Mhm.
to make it 3D. Like
That's not the old school style.
Avatar, yeah.
Yeah.
Avatar did that.
Yeah, because I was gonna say, like, the newer movies, I just haven't seen a lot of good 3D aside from Despicable Me, but even that's like a bit of an older movie nowadays.
Mhm,
It's the
mhm.
only like recent like movie made within the last 20 years or so that I feel like the 3D is really good. But I just don't think you can replace the way they used to do it.
I also don't think it adds much to many movies.
No, it doesn't.
What does it really do for you to, oh great, the fish is closer to my face now in this scene? Like, I don't care.
Yeah. The only venue where it actually works is like the Nintendo 3DS.
Yeah.
You know, if you're playing like a 3D Mario game, then it I don't know, having it pop out.
I think in those like 4D theaters where like the seats move and stuff, it's cool for that because that's a full body experience. But just taking one of your senses and kind of enhancing it doesn't do much for me.
Yeah, exactly. No, I
Yeah.
agree with that.
The first and only film I've seen in 3D at the cinema is Yogi Bear, which that was an interesting experience.
Yeah, I've only
Nowadays-
seen, one movie in 3D as well. Mine was The Force Awakens. That was pretty much it. That was the
Oh, so
first
you got
time
to
I-
experience that right up close. Then it was
You got
Yeah.
to experience a big tub of crap in 3D. Congratulations.
the only time I really do 3D movies now is if that's all I can get. If like the on the off chance the standard 2D showing is either too like not in the time frame I'm looking for or it's sold out for some reason, I'll do 3D. But that's it.
Well, that's the problem that we were saying is that you can't really like they're not filmed for 3D. The only thing that's filmed for 3D now is Avatar. That's it, because 3D cameras are huge. I mean, massive, massive, massive monstrosities. And so the fact that they don't want to film in 3D anymore and that they just do it in post, it's what really contributes to the fact that people aren't enjoying 3D anymore. Because Avatar was filmed for 3D. And then after that, you even had rom-coms in 3D. It's like, what the fuck is the point of seeing a rom-com in 3D? You know, it's crazy.
Right?
Yeah.
Come on, you don't want to see Jennifer Lawrence doing belly to back suplexes naked in 3D? I mean, come on.
The Doctor's in the house. Iceman, The Amazing Spider-Man 2. some TASM love in the chat. You know, I always love TASM movies. Yep.
That
the last big
sequence,
3D movie.
the Gwen Stacy death sequence was probably pretty cool because of all the things that were falling
yep.
in the frame. That would probably be pretty cool. And I didn't see
even
that.
the electro fight, you know, in New York when he has to grab his web and divide it into two different springs to save the people with the cars. Oh, dude. TASM is great. Go watch TASM, Laser, if you haven't seen it.
He's the best Spider-Man. That's my hot take. Andrew,
Hey,
I'm going to agree to disagree with you, dude. But to each their own, you know.
Yeah.
All right. Well, boom. So Biff pops in, of course, annoying the shit out of everyone, and we get a fight, a little fight, which I do have a clip of. So, you, ladies and gentlemen, in the chat, you're about to witness the invention of skateboarding. And I guess we're gonna see Eric Stoltz's hand for a little millisecond. Yes, it's gonna go quick. So
we'll try to see it as best we can. But Eric Stoltz does make an appearance here, apparently.
Now, whoa, Biff, what's that? Whoa, kid, stop. Hey! I'll get it back to you, all right?
I don't think any of us were muted for that, actually. I heard everyone laughing.
That's the second or third time they use the word shit in the movie.
Yep.
They could have just said, at least this time it was topical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What? Amelia, Biff is thick.
Like thick-headed for sure, but he's actually pretty buff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
he's
he was.
really
How
buff.
tall is
Buff Biff.
He's probably 6'2" or 6'3", honestly, because he looks big
Yeah, I think
compared to
that's-
everyone else.
I think that's about right. I met him in Dallas a few years ago, and he's about a foot taller than me, and I'm about 5'3". So,
Holy cow.
Yeah.
So Michael J. Fox is only 5'4".
yep,
yeah, he's
correct.
not a
What?
a small
He's
guy.
a tiny guy. I took a picture with him, and we're like pretty much the same height.
Yeah, 6'2",
So-
6'2". So he's
Yeah.
probably. I wouldn't be shocked if Thomas Wilson was probably about like. He's thicker body than me, and I'm about, I carry a lot of muscle in my legs, but I'm about 230. So he's probably about like 250.
Well, he's still in really
Yeah.
good shape for being his age. And I'll be honest
Oh,
with you
yeah.
guys, when I met the Back to the Future people a few years ago, he looks the best. He's aged the best out of everybody.
Mm.
Looks pretty freaking good and really, really nice guy.
That's
Just have to
what
put that out
happens.
there.
He has to stay in shape. The only reason why he stayed in shape is because every single time the doorbell rang, he had to get up out of his chair and go and open the door. That's like cardio 50 times a day to answer the door. So
Probably.
he stayed in shape.
He had to
Uh,
remain buff Biff.
Where's Mega Geek when you need him? It's shit.
That's right. Oh man, yeah. Where is Ian for that line?
Ah,
Then of course, he gives the skateboard back to Tony Hawk. Tony Hawk, of course, you know him. He's going to become a pro skater. He's going to develop the pro skater games, and changing the course of history right there, dude. This dude has his shit on, man. The drip is immaculate. Damn,
Cub Scout, man.
hell yeah.
yeah, Troop 162. It looked like, I think it was either 162 or 163.
And so Emmett Brown is out here replaying his death. Well, his almost death scene where he says, "Oh no, they found me." That's where he stops, and you can tell that he's fixated on that scene. But he did have time to make a very, I guess, crude model of what they're gonna do. His words, and so he basically shows them that they're going to attach the wires to the street lamps, of course, to the tower. So the electricity, when the lightning strikes, it's going to go through. And of course, he has the rod prepared to add at the back of the DeLorean. So exactly when the lightning strikes, he's going to be able to hook it. It goes to the flux capacitor, and they've got the 1.21 gigawatts. And it's going to burn, baby, burn. Disco Inferno. And he's going to go back to the future.
I
how
do
he has a
love
bunch
that
of, like,
his
wet
line.
rags.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do love his line about the model though. He's like, "Sorry, I wasn't able to build it to scale." Like, no, who
Yeah.
cares? Like,
But it still looks pretty intricate for not having
Right,
a lot of
yeah.
time to build it. You know?
It looks great.
Yeah.
Maybe you wrapped a bit of like a Pepsi can or Pepsi
yeah,
bottle.
yeah, those are definitely. If you look, I think those are like salt and pepper shakers at the
Yeah.
other.
Yeah.
Definitely, there's a lunchbox or a toolbox of some sort in the foreground.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I
Right.
never actually took the time to look at this. You could actually start to pick out what the things are. That's pretty.
Oh yeah,
that's
you
pretty
can tell the author.
Yeah.
Household stuff.
That's you know
I
what that
think
is.
I
That's
did that when I watched this recently. I was like, "Hey, that's a bottle, and that's this."
that's
never noticed
definitely
before.
like a Heinz ketchup bottle. Just looking at
Yeah.
it based on the shape, that's what that
True.
is.
True.
The other
that-
ones, I'm not sure, but
There's like
that
an
one.
ammo box or something. Towards
Yeah,
the
over
front
here.
Yeah, right there.
Over here.
No, that's a toolbox. That's definitely like
That's
a
toolbox. Yeah.
yeah.
toolbox. All right. And
But yeah, if you look at one, go back real quick.
Yep.
The one pillar that's like dead center. If you look at so there's the two pillars, like the three pillars of the actual. No, go right slightly, a little bit more. It's those two that are like that's a salt and
Oh.
pepper shaker right there. Like,
Oh.
that one. If you
Oh,
look at
yeah,
it, look
yeah.
closer, yeah.
All right. Yep.
We could sit here and just pick this shit out all day and figure out what the hell it is.
This kind of looks like a Zippo lighter or some shit like that.
Yeah, it's probably something like that. And then those are like mini spice jars of some sort.
Yeah, but it is still a crude model. Okay, it's not up to scale. It's not up to scale. And so yeah. Now, of course, Lorraine finds them. She followed him here. I love the way he looks at her. Look at that, Dr. Brown. It's like, what the?
He's like, "Oh shit!"
The original stage 5 clinger over here.
And so yeah, so she wants to go to the enchantment under the sea dance with him, and he doesn't really want to, but he accepts because he has a deal. And so the deal is that he's gonna try and force his way onto her, and George McFly is gonna be the hero and save the day. And I just love the fact that they're actually just doing laundry together. It's such a mundane activity to tell you how much time that he's actually trying to spend with George. They're not going to the bar or to the restaurants or anything like that.
Can you imagine if that was the sequence of how they tried to sell this movie to producers? So tell us just a random sequence from. And then they pick out like a random page of the script, like from this page, and you look at it, it's like, okay, so our protagonist tries to sexually assault his mom, and he's stopped by his father. And
Yep, that's pretty much it. And so that's the plan laid out. And so with the plan laid out, things are set into motion because it's the time. It's nighttime. And yeah, so I love the fact that the detail of Doc Brown handing him the coat so that he can slip the letter in later on. So what he does is he writes the letter so that he can. Oh, I never realized that this just said ink in it.
oh, well, yeah.
Oh, that's a proper nice. I thought, yeah. Well, weren't ballpoint pens existing back then?
Yeah, wasn't the ballpoint pen invented for like around World War II? Wasn't that like?
Yeah, I would thought so. I guess he
but
likes his
maybe-
penmanship.
I was gonna say maybe Doc Brown preferred the old school like calligraphy thing. I don't know.
Possible. Yeah. And so yeah, so he writes the letter telling Doc Brown about what's going to happen so that he knows to wear a bulletproof vest. And he gets stopped, asks for his permit. I love how he just
he gives the cop a bribe.
Yeah, you see, like
Well,
the
but you
frame
knew that's
goes
what he was
away.
after. He's like, "Oh yeah, let me get it out of here." It's like, he
let me see
knew.
where I am.
It's like, yeah, let me look for my permit inside my wallet where I keep my huge wad of cash. It's like, oh, right.
Apparently, the 50s was when ballpoint pens really started to become popular, but they hadn't fully displaced the fountain pen until the late 60s, early 70s.
Oh, okay. All right.
Good to know.
And so yeah, with the bribe complete, the police officer gone, and with the letter inside the jacket, it is now time to go to the dance, of course, the enchantment under the sea dance. And yeah, we've got Marvin Berry's cousin just chilling. Of course, a whole
No,
bunch of.
you mean Chuck Berry's cousin.
Oh
Mar-
yeah, it's true.
Marvin.
Chuck
Yeah.
Berry.
Oh,
Chuck Berry's
I corrected him. I corrected him on his favorite movie. I win.
That's true. That's true. I got corrected. Yeah.
Marvin Berry, your cousin.
Yeah. Mhm.
Chuck,
And
Chuck.
yep. So they're playing. Of course, they're gonna play Earth Angel later on. Earth Angel, will you be mine? And
Jesus, you drink too? Mark,
Yep.
you're beginning to sound like just like my mother.
just like your mother.
Which is exactly what she does with her kids, right? So
Of course, with the smoking. That's what
I mean, it was the 50s. Everybody was
Everybody
smoking in the
smoked, yeah.
50s. It's how they lived so long, apparently. Don't pay attention to your health at all, and you live forever.
And after she kisses him, she says, "Yep, no, you kind of remind me. There's something weird. You remind me of it's like kissing a brother.
My brother, yeah.
Yeah,
It's like kissing my
and
brother, is what she says.
Yep. But
He's like,
the villain
yeah,
of the
that makes
story,
perfect
right?
sense.
Yeah, it does make perfect sense to him.
But he would legitimately never get over this. That would be like, even if he did,
he'd be
fix
in therapy
things,
forever.
Yeah, he'd be
Look
in
at his
therapy
face,
for the rest of
man.
his life.
This is
weird.
these are the eyes of a traumatized man. Okay,
Yep.
1,000-yard stare right there. Look. And so yeah, the villain arrives, and Biff is gonna try and grape her, of course, as we said before, and his friends are just gonna, I guess, watch him do it. Yeah, it's
Make
so
like
weird.
make like a battleship make like a tree and get out of here.
You make like a tree and get
Yeah.
out of here, yeah. And so they take him. This is the only dude that kind of looks like he doesn't really want to be up there,
Well, you
because
can't really tell with the guy with the 3D glasses. You can't really see his eyes too.
Well, he's just trying to look at the show, man. I
Yeah,
don't
Billy
know.
Zane is a little too into this.
Yeah, he's having too much fun.
And
He's like, my turn next.
The hot box.
yeah, the hot boxing gang. So this is where he
That's
says
right.
the beat it spook, yeah. That they all just pop out of the car like, yeah, what's good? It's like, yeah, I don't
I
want
love
to.
that. They're like, excuse me?
We're not messing with any reefer heads.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yep, exactly.
Addicts. He says addicts.
Reefer addicts. Yeah.
Reefer addicts, that's what it is.
My, in 2025, watching this, it's like I remember like some kid in my high school got kicked out for smoking weed. And
Oh,
like
man.
literally 25 years later, it's legal in the same state.
Yeah.
The guy on the far right looks like he could just take all of them at once. He's,
100%.
I would. That's
He
the
got
last
the
one
eye
I'd
of the
fuck with.
tiger.
Mhm.
Yeah, he looks like he was definitely like a former football player. Maybe did a couple stints. He's not looking. He's looking pretty mean in that moment.
The dude
others are
behind him is definitely zooted the fuck out, dude. Like, he's not even staring.
It's
Oh
like,
yeah,
"Let's
he's not
go,
even looking
dude.
in the right
Let's go."
direction. The one behind him is just the one that's up on the hood of the car. I guess it is he's just like these motherfuckers.
That guy kind of looks like Neil deGrasse Tyson.
A little
Oh
bit,
my God.
a little bit. He's just over the. He was in the car, and what he was doing, he was explaining how the universe worked to these guys. So they were
While they were like hella high. Yeah.
Oh, dude. I'm telling you.
and the one behind Marvin Berry doesn't even look like a black dude. He's definitely like a Pakistani guy who snuck into the band. Like, I don't know what's going on with that.
But I'm telling you, if these guys smoke like 2025 weed, they probably die in a second. Like, no joke. You could give the strongest stoner from 1970s to the 1980s, the dude that used to smoke every single day, every second of his life. You give him a hit of 2025 weed, it'll be like smoking for the first time. His heart would probably stop in an instant. Like, that's how powerful weed has become, man. And oh yeah, George McFly is out here pimp walking to save his princess.
This is, by the way, this is proof that white guys should never wear white suits. It just does not work. We do not look good in white suits.
Harrison,
We don't. It's
Harrison Ford would like
Hold
a
on. What about James Bond?
all right,
Yeah.
White nerdy guys shouldn't wear.
Fair.
Okay, correct. Well,
You need to, if you have a decent tan, it's fine. You can't be like a pasty, pale white guy and wear.
yeah,
white suit.
Indy had a tan in.
Yeah, you got it. If you have like a decent tan, there has to be some sort of, contrast.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now I do have the clip of him becoming. Oh wait, where is it? All right, there we go. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for the hero to step in and defeat the villain.
Hey, you, get your damn hands off.
George, help me, please.
Just turn around, McFly.
No, Biff. You leave her alone.
All right, McFly.
Biff, stop it! Biff, you'll break his arm! Biff, leave him alone! Let him go! Let him go!
Are you okay?
Who is that guy?
It's George McFly.
Hell yeah, that's George McFly.
So
Yeah.
that's really all Lorraine ever wanted is to have like a husband or a partner that was not a pussy.
Eraserhead, damn sure, dude, damn straight. I'm 100%.
I just found out
sure.
Eraserhead doesn't live that far from me. We're gonna have to meet up with him soon.
But yeah, that's kind of that's all she wanted. She wanted someone to stand up for her and be by her side.
She wanted a masculine man? No way.
Yeah,
Movie has some sort of weird,
messy,
propaganda going on here.
I mean, circa 2018. I don't know, man, but now we're back.
We're back to masculine men being cool. Thank
Yeah.
True.
God.
Yep. So of course the picture is still fading, which is a problem because hey, the solution has maybe presented itself, but he remembers that they haven't kissed yet, which is why he goes to the band. Of course, he was locked in the trunk this whole time, which I forgot to mention. They locked him into the trunk, which is why the black people came out and were like, "Hey man, what the fuck are you doing with our car?" And so he slid his hand while trying to open the trunk because the keys of the trunk were in the trunk, which is definitely proof that they were smoking some weed. So
Yeah, and this would have been long before they installed any kind of mandatory emergency release systems.
And so he's supposed to play guitar now. And this is where we get sort of the scene where Marty is basically about to die on stage in front of all these people and change the course of their lives forever. Because he's just about to, he would literally be erased from existence in front of all these people.
Now, would the guitar drop?
Yeah, I guess.
Now, here's the thing: is if he's erased from existence, would they actually even know that he was just erased from existence? Because he would have never existed. Like, would the memories of him just go away because of that? Also, this is definitely anybody who's familiar with the characters from American Pie. This is
American Pie. Yep,
this is 1955 Shermanator right here.
100%
Yes.
Terminator, dude.
That's what I was thinking when I was watching this. I'm like, he looks like Shermanator.
Yeah, as a kid, I would watch American Pie a lot and this a lot, and American Pie, which also formed my taste in music and made me fall in love with Blink 182. So there you go.
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah.
And so yeah, when I was watching this as a kid, I never made the correlation that this movie had come out in 1985 because I didn't really care about the release dates back then. So I was just like, man, the Shermanator dude was annoying in both of those movies for some reason. They look so much alike.
Yeah.
He ended up because the Shermanator, the character of him, Sherman, whatever his actual last name was in it, but he ended up becoming one of the only recurring characters when they went to like the
spin-off stuff.
He he ended up being the like the principal, I believe, of their school, and so he just keeps reappearing in like the later ones.
Yeah, because all the spin-offs basically talk about Stifler's family. Like each spin-off is like a Stifler family member. That's pretty much.
Right.
And so he's about to disappear and fade into nothingness. But of course, George kisses Lorraine, and we get our picturesque finale for the 1955 micro movie that's in this Back to the Future movie with this crane shot, which I appreciate. So like this is where, if you would make just the romantic comedy about George and Lorraine getting together, this is where it would end for a 1955 movie. Crane shot, band is dancing, and done. Now, of course, we switch to Back to the Future, where I do have the clip. I don't have any sound on the clip, but it's Marty McFly playing Johnny B. Good, so we can talk.
Oh yeah.
There we go. All right. And so yeah, Marty McFly playing Johnny B. Good, and I fucking love this as a kid, man. I don't know about you guys.
I don't know much about guitars, but I love that guitar.
Yeah.
If anybody knows what guitar that is,
I think that's a Gibson.
Any musicians out there?
Yeah.
So here's the weirdest thing about this is they're loving this song, right? They're loving all of it. And then all of a sudden they're like, "Oh, you're going too far."
That's because he's going like 1980s style.
Yeah, dude, this is like
all
hard
the
rock.
hair and like metal bands used to do.
That's
stuff
right.
Like that.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't shred guitars back in the 50s, folks. That's just not how it happened. That was an 80s thing. Maybe like a little bit in the 70s, right? But like it was mainly an 80s thing.
Yeah. And
yes, 335 according to James.
No, yeah, that's
Nice.
a beautiful guitar. I'm glad. I'm gonna look that up.
Yeah, the crane shot is really, really good. Not only the crane shot for the finale, but the crane shot where they have all of them dancing, and then she flips, and then she opens her legs, and the crane just passes through. Of course, to Marty McFly playing the guitar. That's fucking incredible. That was very interesting music. Yeah.
Crane operation cameras are like people who can do that are some of the most skilled people in the world because you need to understand angles from a vantage point you can't possibly be looking from. And I've known some guys who did that when I worked in the industry, and they get paid a lot of money because there's not many people who could do that well. Most people could. Any one of us could figure out how to operate a crane camera, but doing it well and getting good timing and good angles and all that stuff, that's where you make the big bucks if you're good at it. At that.
And so yeah, of course, he says his farewells to George and Lorraine, wishes them that they have a good life, and as Daniel B says, if you guys ever have kids and one of them accidentally sets the rug on fire go easy on him, okay, when he's 8 years old, of course. So yeah. Child abuse made him shy.
Oh my goodness.
And so yeah, so they part ways, and he goes back to Doc and shows him that everything is fixed, the picture is done, and they can go. And he gives Doc, of course.
He never served to Biff in his life, and Doc's like, never.
Yep.
No, why? What's up?
And yeah, I love this last hug between both of them. And then of course it breaks my heart because Doc finds the letter and he just rips it up without reading it. And this is where, as a kid, I was like, "No!" Yeah, I was screaming at the TV like, "Doc, I don't want you to see you die."
And this actually shows like the relationship that they have. Like it's like mentor and mentee. Like it's nothing creepy like this high school kid hanging out. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's much more wholesome than the way we look at things these days.
Yeah, definitely. I totally agree with you, man. He really is just looking out for him. It's pure love that he has for Doc and pure love that Doc has for Marty. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
And,
but platonic only. There's
of course, platonic.
Yeah. I think what it kind of was. I think what it kind of
love.
I actually wouldn't say platonic, but what I would say is that Marty and his father didn't have much of a relationship before he went back in time and fixed the timeline, and Doc Brown ended up kind of filling in the gaps that he had with his father.
True.
So there's a bit of a father-son relationship between the two of them as well, which gets sort of displaced now, but he still lived the life. Like this particular Marty lived the life that one did. It's so even though when he goes back to 1985, the father that's now there had a different relationship with all the kids and all this stuff, he doesn't have any of those memories.
Yeah. True. Now, of course, Doc going up the top of the tower, setting up everything, while Marty is who's gone away at the end of the street and is also setting up on his end, but
getting his lightning rod.
Getting the lightning rod.
Getting the old lightning rod ready. Yeah. What they're calling it nowadays in 1955.
That's what the kids are saying now. No.
And of course, Doc, he's stumbling because he creates there's a crack that forms, and he's basically just falling through. And I feel so bad for it. Well, it's a good way of creating tension, really, really good way. Because not only do you have this at first, but then when he tries to plug it in, it just disconnects from the other side, and you're like, oh shit.
Well,
This
because
is-
of the branch, right? That's
Mhm.
Yep.
Yep, the branch that fell just before, and which is the reason why they had gone.
This is like very well written tension. Like you don't really get this much, this style of, I guess, filmmaking tension that, that Back to the Future.
In such a short amount of time, you don't
Yeah.
get that.
there is one contrivance, and that's that it requires that the tree branch falls, but other than that, it's logical. Even that's logical. It's just it is one thing to create more tension, but even without that, the time
it's
frame
not forced either.
No, it's not forced, but even without that, the time frame is really the tension builder.
Mhm.
Oh yeah,
They have less than a split second, a millisecond to get this right.
and they have one shot
And
exactly.
they have one shot at it. That's the tension, really.
Mhm.
And the DeLorean is being prepped. Of course, the DeLorean doesn't want to fucking spark because, hey, again, more tension on Marty's end. But,
Right.
It's just like,
um, Yep. And when it finally does, well, ladies and gentlemen, it hits 88 per hour, which I do have the clip of.
Wouldn't the timing be off though before you play it? Wouldn't the timing be off because the car didn't start right at the right time?
It would. It would.
Yeah,
It
so
would actually.
he actually probably wouldn't hit it at the right speed.
Well, it depends. Maybe he just accelerated a lot to compensate. Yeah.
there you go. That's what I'm thinking. Maybe you put the pedal to the metal, you know?
Yeah. Really. put
Maybe
the
he wasn't going 88 anymore. He was going like 96 to
Yeah. All right. Well,
One interesting thing I read was during the filming of the sequence, apparently lightning did strike a power generator.
Oh wow.
On the set.
They're like, we could have did this shit for real.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll play this. While I play this Dark Hour, I'll be right back, man. I'm going to the
No
bathroom.
problem. I'll take over.
I don't know how
88 miles per hour.
I don't know how he survived because that's like touching the third rail.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, yeah, he probably would have had
Rubber gloves or something. But that's a lot. That's a lot of. That's a lot of
reason
power. going
I
through.
can't find the how to switch these. Where is it? Well, we'll just talk about this one for a little bit. But yeah, and so obviously they time it properly, and he goes back in time, and we find out that I'm assuming that the next where is it? Let's see. Stop sharing. Let's see. Oh, there we go. I had to take over.
Oh, and there's the ice on the
See, there you go.
Yeah. It was
And
because it
Lone
was a
Pine
different. That's why that was still the one that was on his computer. That's why I couldn't move it. So, yeah, Lone Pine Mall. Yeah, Elmo's, whatever the hell that is in the back.
Libyans.
The Libyans.
I didn't realize that it was going to land back on the one that you were screen sharing. I couldn't switch it.
Don't worry. I'm back anyways. I'm back here. Yeah. So there we go. He's gone, ladies and gentlemen. He's gone back to the future. You
I
get
loved
it?
his
You get
initial
it?
look on his face when he saw that it had worked, you know, when he's still laying on the ground or whatever. And it's like, oh, he's so excited. His plan worked. I think
it's
he
sort
kind of
of
doubted himself a
loop.
tiny bit.
Now at the end of the
Yeah.
second one, Marty comes out running like from where the Holt sign is.
Yeah, it cuts
So I
off
wonder
right
if-
where that would be.
They didn't film them back to back, did they? Or
No.
maybe
No.
two
No.
and three.
No,
filmed
they
two
filmed
and
them.
2 and
back
3,
to
yes.
back.
Yeah, 2 and 3, yes.
That's why
But
2
one-
and 3 kind of work well together.
Mhm.
They're the scenes specifically. They hint at everything that's going to happen in the third one. They have all the stuff like the history museum of Biff Tannen's family and all that stuff. This one they had to kind of recreate some of the scenes from the first one.
All right, and there we go. So yeah, he's back, and where were we? Yep, he's back, and he sees the Libyans arriving, and so he makes his way to Lone Pine Mall, of course, with the DeLorean.
Wait, hang on one
Crashing
second.
as usual.
'Cause
Yep.
in the previous frame, It had Assembly of Christ. It's not
Reverend
the
John Pope.
it's not the porn theater anymore.
That's true.
Yes, it's now a Christian theater. It's the
Yeah,
exact
Christian
opposite.
theater, yeah.
So he single-handedly like made Hill Valley more religious.
Or at least less dodgy.
Yeah.
Right.
Now we've got a super chat from Common People. Common People for $5. Thank you, Common People. If I went back in time and had to park with my young hot mom. ... Ooh.
Bro.
Would it be like a Futurama situation? You went back in time and now you're your own grandfather, or in this case, your own father?
Well, I think they did a Family Guy thing like that too, and Marty wound up coming out looking a little like a what if.
Mhm.
Thank you so much, Common People, for the super chat, man. Really appreciate it. And so we arrive at Lone Pine Mall, 1:33 a.m. And yes, Doc Brown is about to get shot, and Marty sees himself basically going back in time. And so, yep, that's it. And this is a little, I guess, aperitif of what we're gonna get in Back to the Future Part 2. The entire movie is basically Marty looking at Marty in time. It's kind of it.
Well,
So,
the second half of the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
A lot of that stuff.
largely
Not the
second
first
half. And
That the time travel dynamics in the Back to the Future trilogy, are they the same as the ones in, let's say, Time Cop, where you can't interact with yourself?
So
do
there's
they have mention? No, I don't think so.
I have to see Time Cop again, but they do have people interact with themselves in the second movie. It just turns out that they pass out. It's when
yeah.
Jennifer passes out.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah.
but yeah,
JC Penny's long gone. Robin's long gone. Yep. No, he's right there. He's right there. JC Penny. I see you. I see you.
it's a different.
I see it.
But yeah, the time travel mechanics of Back to the Future after the second, like even in the first movie, they're not particularly great, but the second movie really turns them into an insanity, because technically this would end up creating a completely different timeline.
Yep.
Because he would have saved Doc Brown, so it's a different timeline. It's not the same.
Yep. All right. And so, of course, Doc Brown, he took the letter, and he's wearing a bulletproof vest, saving him. You can see the bulletproof vest right there in the back. And yeah, he hugs Marty and drops him off home. And he heads to the future, 30 years into the future, because it's a round number, going to 2015. So, yep. There are no time travel.
Amelia, so there's no, if you mean in universe, no. In quantum physics, it's pretty much
theoretical.
Determined. The closest thing that they could come up with, any theories, is that you could only, anything that is done with time travel has to happen the way it was. It was always meant to be. So that,
it was always meant to be. That's kind of what it was.
Kind of like Terminator then.
Yeah, you can't go back in time and do anything that would change the future, because then
you've already
time
done
to change the future. So it would create an instant paradox. It's the only one that theoretical quantum physicists could come up with.
And so everything's changed. There's a nice piano. They're eating some nice expensive food. He's wearing a suit to work.
One thing I didn't get. Why is he in a suit going to work on a Saturday morning?
He's really into his job now.
He likes his job, basically.
But there's
I guess he worked at McDonald's or something in the I guess the prior timeline.
Yeah, it was some sort of
fast food.
Fast food.
And now there are Saturday hours for banks if he's like working as like a bank manager.
Yeah, that's what Reni was saying. Yeah, it's true.
I mean, there's shorter hours. I think most
Saturday office jobs. Yeah, it's not all Monday through Friday. So
like
or
most
maybe
banks
he's
are
an
only
investment banker now and he works 7 days a week.
True.
Yeah, maybe they actually have other problems now. Instead of being like lazy and not able to get a decent job, he's actually a workaholic now, and is actually gonna throw him and at some point going to throw himself out of the top of a building when the stock market goes the wrong direction for him or something. Whole completely different set of problems for their family.
Why did the chicken cross the road to get to the other side? Yeah, that's a dark joke. It's only recently that I found out it was a joke about offing yourself, kind of it. You have to get to the other side. The other side.
Oh,
I
wow.
never realized it was a joke about that. And family's looking good, looking nice and in shape, looking magnificent. Still has a huge
Well,
ass forehead.
that's because Marty told her to stop drinking.
Mm-hmm.
So now she's like, oh, Mom, you're so thin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So thin. Then he even falls once he sees them for the first time. He's like, "Oh shit!" And there he is, Biff, with his automotive. What does he do? Automotive
Detailing.
Detailing.
Yeah.
detailing. Yeah, and of course, I love the fact that George McFly says, "No, don't play with me, Biff. You do this. You're starting the second coat now." So yep. So it's
Sorry, Mr. McFly.
yeah.
And I like how he has a Beamer now, as opposed to
Mhm.
whatever shitty car that he had before.
Yeah, the jalop that he had.
Yep. And his new book is here, A Match Made in Space by George McFly. Nice. I like it. And so Marty, he's just living the life.
With
He's got
his
the
Toyota Tacoma.
the one that he wanted. He saw at the beginning of the movies.
His 4x4. Yeah.
The one that's going to cause him to lose his ability to use his hand.
Yep.
Oh, Claudia Wells! I wish
Yep.
she was in the sequels.
Same.
Don't get me wrong, I love Elizabeth Shue, but Claudia Wells just works so much better in the first one.
Yeah,
common
great.
people. I think they have much better chemistry here.
100%.
Well, there's
And-
not much screen time with them, which I think adds to
even
that.
even with such little screen time, they still have so much.
I'm saying that there's very little chance for them to screw it up with any bad.
Oh, okay. I see what you
chemistry.
mean. I see what you
They only
mean.
have to be good with each other for about 3 scenes.
True.
Yeah.
True. And of course, the one of the most iconic suits ever in costumes ever in film, just coming through with the glasses and the car. And he shows the DeLorean now works on Mr. Fusion, the home energy reactor. And it's your kids, Marty. Something's got to be done with your kids.
Something's got to be done about your kids, Marty.
Yep. It's like, what happens to us in the future? Do we become assholes?
That's another Family Guy joke that I enjoy. Your daughter marries a black guy, Marty.
And he's
I don't have a
like,
problem with that.
I don't see a problem with that.
Me neither, but did you know a black man invented peanut butter?
And we get one of the camera guy reflection in the plate.
Oh, I never noticed that
Oh,
before.
wow,
Yeah.
yeah.
There you go. Yeah, there it is.
That's hard to deal with, unfortunately.
Oh yeah, of course. Once you have something reflective, and
The
this
best,
probably one
the
of
best
the
one was Matrix when they put the camera underneath. I think it was like a black sheet or something, and because the reflection on the handle, the door handle.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
And of course, one of the greatest, most iconic, absolutely most fantastic setups to a fucking sequel ever. Like, this is the best sequel bait that you can ever have. Just this scene. Hell yeah, I would dress like Doc for the future suit. Hell yes, Mr. Brown. I would definitely do it. I mean, if I could get the materials, I'd dress like this I would have said for Halloween. Actually, I could dress like that every day. I don't mind going to work dressed in the future suit as Doc. That would be great. And
apparently, my impression of Doc Brown does it for Amelia.
So, ladies and gentlemen, roads, where we're going, we don't need roads.
Hey, Doc, we better back up. We don't have enough road to get up to 88.
Roads? Where we're going, we don't need roads.
There we go, and that's it.
I know that there's a lot. I know that there's a lot of iconic movie ends, but I'm not sure there's one that people remember better than that one.
Oh yeah.
That line, where we're going, we don't need roads, all that, the look, the way everything happens. I can't think of a better way to end that movie.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
that's perfect. And this was planned to be a one-off, so they made this with the ending that it has, like not necessarily intending to make a sequel, but hey, it left it open-ended in case they wanted to, which I love Back to the Future 2 as well. But yeah, it was just great. It's like, oh, I wonder what happens next. But if you never found out, you wouldn't have been too mad. You know?
Argentum, it's actually interesting that you say the CGI is better than most movies today because this had a rushed post-production, so the CGI was actually unfinished. Imagine that. So yeah, this is unfinished CGI that you're looking at for 1985.
Speaking of the CGI, I always found it weird when there was the experiment and it left the fire.
Oh yeah, the fire
tracks,
trail,
and
the
they
composition
were just, like, superimposed onto that.
Yep. Compositing wasn't that good. Yeah, it kind of just sticks out for 1 or 2 seconds.
But it's still pretty good because when he's looking at his hand disappearing, that's actually pretty neat.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
definitely.
Like really good for the 80s.
And yeah, this is one of the rare behind the scenes picks that I could actually find. So you got Zemeckis on the left, Spielberg on the right, Michael J. Fox in the middle, and probably Bob Gale is the dude with the glasses, I think. Dude that co-wrote it with Zemeckis. And yeah, I did actually find a pic of Kathleen Kennedy sitting on the hood of the DeLorean with Spielberg and Zemeckis and Michael J. Fox. Yeah, I think I got. Wait, let me try and see if I can.
I was gonna say, is
it.
Brown still in the chat? That's his girlfriend.
I just redirected it. Unfortunately, we're probably going to be over here in about the next 15 minutes. So, but I redirected it to his stream.
Nice,
Oh,
nice,
that's
nice,
sweet.
awesome. Oh yeah, I found it.
I'm not sure how well that will do with the almost hour between the two, but best I could do.
Let me share this. Let me share my screen. Come on,
No.
YouTube.
No,
Come on.
it's right there. I see it.
Boom, there she is. Boom, there it is.
Ugh.
KK.
She has less of a neck there.
Michael J. Fox.
No neck for neck loving, huh?
There she is. Yep, chilling. And yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that was Back to the Future, one of my favorite all-time movie posters. It just looks so fucking cool. The DeLorean doesn't look poster. Like the DeLorean is kind of weirdly shaped in the poster, though.
It almost looks like you're seeing the front and side at the same time.
Yes.
It's like,
Yep, it's weird. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that was Back to the Future.
well, I do know that Reni said she has to head out relatively soon, so I do want to give her a chance to give her final thoughts.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank
Brown.
you.
Thank you.
Sorry, I have to get ready, some stuff ready for Super Bowl Sunday. I know it's not the ideal 2 teams, but it is what it is.
Ready to see Kendrick perform?
Yes.
Let's go.
Not like us, son. He better
Hell
perform
yeah.
that. Hell yeah.
Definitely.
I want to see Drake get dissed during halftime.
Yes. Hell yeah.
Sorry, you were asking me to do my final thoughts.
Yeah, your final thoughts. Yeah, it's fine. Your final thoughts could be about the Super Bowl if you like. It doesn't have to be about the Super Bowl. I've never once said, "Hey, what are your closing thoughts?" And it has to be specifically about this.
No, I'm sorry. I hate to detract, but yes, I'm really excited about seeing that. So he better perform not like us. Anywho, yeah, you guys, as stated, I love this movie. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. There are some real interesting characters out in the world that really try to break down the time travel theory, which I think this one's based on the string theory. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I think so.
But, people try to tear it apart because of that. And I'm like, can you not just enjoy it for being a fucking movie? So, pardon my French, but, it's just irritating to me. So it's an enjoyable movie with great acting, perfect people picked for the roles, great humor, like Teresa stated earlier, great writing. I mean, I really don't think that there's much you can say that's bad about this movie, if you could at all. And, like I was telling you guys earlier, when we were watching it on the newer TV that we got on Black Friday, I was just really impressed with the picture, and I'm like, holy crap. I would not, if I didn't know better, I would not guess that this movie was made in the 80s, aside from the 80s like stereotypical stuff being there, right? So when you look at it, the picture is just fantastic. So definitely enjoy, definitely recommend. I don't care what age you are. And Tur, you found this movie and you weren't even born.
Yeah,
I found
this one when I was young. I had those.
This movie in Africa.
Yeah, dude. Well, it was in. I always talk about those bootleg 24 movies in one DVD. This was the entire trilogy was in that one DVD. So I would rewatch that shit.
Michael J. Fox was over there like, "Do you guys know that you can be French one day?" And he was like. Uninspired was like, what? I don't know how you would say that in the native language of Ghana, but
Dude, yeah. Yeah. But Reni, it was an absolute pleasure to have you back on.
Absolutely.
And I'm glad that it was back for Back to the Future. And yeah, have a great rest of your Super Bowl filled day.
Yes, thank you guys so much for having me back on. It was a lot of fun, and I'm sure I will see you soon in cyberspace.
I will
Hell
update the conversation, the Twitter conversation for the date of the second one after we're done with this. So.
Excellent.
Yeah.
All right, sounds good.
Right.
Have a good one, you guys.
Thank you. Cheers, Reni.
All right, bye.
Bye. All right. And so, of course.
Okay, now it's sausage fest time.
I guess OTC. Oh, yeah, you're here. Yep. All right.
Sure,
OTC.
yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a huge part of my childhood. I always fantasize like, oh, when I grow up, I want to build my own time machine. Except, no physicist has ever been able to do that. And it's like, well, what would I do? What would I, go back and try to do? Which ways to change my own life. So it's just it inspired a hell of a lot of creativity that eventually, through the grapevine, led me to start writing books and starting my YouTube channel. So yeah, it was a very inspirational movie. Some great characters, very tightly written script. The casting was basically perfect. I don't think it would have been as good with Eric Stoltz, especially because Eric Stoltz is 6 feet tall. So then, he's almost like Biff's height. So that
they would have had to get like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar to play Biff at that point.
Right. And so, yeah, I mean, it's and I mean, for me, the best high school girlfriend you could possibly have is Jennifer Parker in the first one. So yeah, shout out to Claudia Wells.
And she has no problem. She has literally no problem with the fact that you went back in time and nearly hooked up with your own mother. She's cool with everything.
Well, in her defense, maybe Marty never told her.
I'm just joking, obviously.
Maybe there's some dishonesty in that marriage.
But dude, it was a pleasure having you on,
Absolutely.
man. Hopefully we have you on soon.
And I want to have you guys on my stream.
Dude, yeah, for sure.
So,
for sure. And Golden Age, the man with the 3D glasses, and of course with me on your shoulder over there.
Yes, I can also see fourth dimensionally in addition to 3-dimensionally. So this film, like you, Uninspired, is just such an essential film to knowing me as a person, my interests in cinema, the sort of bombastic nature of the film, everything from the dialogue, the comedy, there's a lot of action pieces, there's interesting technical effects. And yeah, this movie just really sort of opened the gates for me and various other sci-fi franchises and my interest in time travel and sort of the period of the 50s, that sort of retro vibe I really like. So yeah, everything about this movie is it's just timeless, and this movie will never really get old, I don't think, because it's ultimately, yes, it's about time travel, there's all these different elements, but at the heart of it, it's really about people growing up, changing responsibility, and that's always going to resonate with people. So yeah, it's
not
just
remake it.
Yeah,
Robert Zemeckis has said that as long as he's alive, they're not remaking it. So,
well, the other day, I saw an article where I think it was Robert Zemeckis, who an interviewer said, "What's your response whenever someone asks you if you're going to make a fourth Back to the Future film?" And he said, "F you." That's pretty simple.
Now, unfortunately for everybody, Robert Zemeckis is 72 years old, so there is a ticking time bomb on when they can pull the trigger on something like that. Unfortunately,
well, I believe that the rights to these films, once Robert Zemeckis and Bob Gale pass away, then it goes to whatever studio. I'm assuming, right? Which will make their deaths even more sadder, because while we're all like, oh no, they've passed away, the people in charge of the studio is going to be like, quick, get a fourth one into production right now.
It's like, yeah, let's get Tom Holland and RDJ as Doc and Marty. Come on. Let's do it. Oh man. Yeah.
Yeah, imagine that. It's like, hey guys, do you want to see another Back to the Future film where they go from the 2050s to 2020s? We're like, nah, we're all right, thanks. Yeah, you want to be reminded of that.
Actually, I will say this: if there was an actor who probably could pull off the Marty McFly energy and the general Michael J. Foxness, it would probably be Tom Holland. He's likely the most similar actor nowadays. I wouldn't want to see it, but if they were just gonna do it, he's probably the guy that they would go with.
Dude, when I was looking for a trailer to cut for this, I found like 5 or 6 different fan-made trailers with Tom Holland and RDJ as Doc and Marty. I was like, what the fuck is this? Oh man. But yeah. Dude, Golden Age, it was an absolute pleasure to have you on again, man. You're welcome anytime.
It's great to be back on.
Welcome anytime. And Dark Hour, I guess that leaves you and then me.
Yes. So I pretty much agree with exactly the sentiment that Golden Age said. It's a timeless movie. It definitely, this is probably in the top 10 films that you need to show someone. You know, you don't have to. I always say that you know, whether it be a child or just a younger sibling or something, or even just someone who was didn't have a TV or something. It's like, this is one of those movies that you just go, okay, here's the 10 movies you need to see, and then come back and talk to me. And this is definitely in there. I do wonder to this day, if they hadn't switched out Eric Stoltz, like, where would Michael J. Fox's career have ended up? Because this is pretty much what this is him. Like, his whole career is, I mean, yeah, he was on TV before it, but you know, no one really ever talks about that for the most part. It's, you know, you say Michael J. Fox, you say Marty McFly, those are synonymous. They're almost, and I'm happy that they eventually did the sequels, but if they would have just left it at this one, I think it would have been perfectly well done. And I'm about to get arrested.
Timeless.
Sorry, that's New York.
That's fine.
But yeah, I echo what you guys said, like especially what Golden Age said, because we're around the same age, and I grew up on watching Back to the Future. It made me who I am. I mean, literally, it's the movie that made me who I am. I can say that with absolute certainty. So yeah, if you haven't seen Back to the Future and you're watching this stream, what are you doing, man? Go watch the movie. Come on. Go watch the entire trilogy, all right?
And especially pay attention to when the kid points to his own crotch at the end of the third one. You'll never unsee that after you've seen it once.
Oh man. But yeah, it truly is a sci-fi classic. I don't think they can ever I don't think that it's so unique. It's not going to be topped. And anyone who tries to top this, well, good luck to you, man. Really, really good luck. Yeah. And yeah, I guess this is the part of the show where you have to plug your shit. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it is the time to tell the people where you can be found, where you're going to be soon, or what you've already done. So let the people know where you can find you, what you're going to do. And of course, the links are all in the description. So OTC, let the people know.
So I just put out a review for the movie Companion, which I really liked. Nice. But somehow YouTube shadow banned it, and it's only got 25 views when I usually get hundreds. So go check that out. And then I usually do a once a month stream called Thirsty Thursdays. And the next one will be on February 9th. Today's February.
We are February 9th.
Yeah.
February 11th.
I went back to the past or the present, but no, it's on Thursday the 20th. And I know Dark Hour can't make it, but if you guys could make it, Golden Age and Enter, would be really awesome to have you guys on.
Sure, man. Yeah, I'll tell you if I can. I'll send you a DM, man. I'll check my schedule and tell you if I can. I just need to check the work schedule for a time I work on Friday, and I'll let you know. Yeah, dude. All right. Well, Golden Age, it is time to plug your shit, my friend.
Yeah, so if anyone wants to check out my channel, it's the same name as I've got right down here. And I talk about a range of things. I just put out a video talking about the Buffy revival series announcements. That's going to be one that will either make me very happy once it's released, or is going to really get under my skin. But hey, but we'll see what comes of that. But just a recommendation for everyone in the chat: if you want to sign up to a great movie review website, then I recommend Criticless. A lot of people, a lot of creators that you'll probably know are on there. It's such a great website. The user interface is absolutely incredible. And yeah, I've just over the past few months had an absolute blast just reviewing as many movies as possible on there. And
Nice.
There's a big community over there, so no matter what you want to review, you'll be able to get into a conversation with people about whatever it is. And after this stream, I'm probably going to go and review a Back to the Future over there, because it's a movie which I haven't reviewed over there yet. And after hearing everyone's views on here and sort of revitalized the juices in my brain and has got me thinking about the movie, then I think it's only acceptable that I go and review it. But yeah, this stream has been incredible. It's like we've just passed the 3-hour mark, and like I swear that hasn't even been an hour, because it's been such a fun conversation. So so yeah, I look forward to the next one.
Yeah,
Thanks for having us on.
Yeah, dude. Welcome. It's our pleasure. It's a genuine pleasure, man. Yeah, Criticless. Yes, Criticless is. Oh, there it is. Yeah, Melvin posted the.
I just
the
looked
link.
it up. I didn't even realize. I had heard of it, but I didn't realize it is actually a really good interface. You're correct. I'll have to look into this.
Dark Hour, you want to plug anything?
Yeah, sure. Obviously next week we're back. We have a lot. I just put out a post recently of the entire schedule, but next week is the rescheduled what was it? Sixth day with Drinker is going to be on.
Technically, this is Two Host number 39, but it's labeled as Two Host 40 because Two Host 39 was supposed to be last week. So yeah,
and he already had the. It's like
I already made the thumbnail. I was like, yeah, fuck it.
Obviously, I'll be covering Captain Falcon, Brave New World. So
it comes out soon.
I'm
Thursday night.
looking. Yeah, I already have my my ticket for it. I can't wait to be the only person in that theater. And, I've already was able to pre-write the stuff about the production and everything that has happened up to this point. I was able to pre-write stuff for it because it's just insane, the dumb shit that happened. But obviously I can't write about the movie itself because I haven't seen it yet, but I was able to write about how they have some of the worst merchandising ever. For instance, like the McDonald's toys that came out like a year ago before anything.
Oh yeah, it's true. I even forgot about that. Yeah.
Stuff like that. But
yeah.
Other than that, we'll be pretty busy for the next month and a half or so.
Yeah, I think we have one every week basically at this point.
Yeah, right? The only week that we don't have one, I think, is the last week this month, and then
so it's gonna be busy for Two Hosts, man. It's gonna be busy, and so and we've got some good movies lined up, that's for sure. But that's pretty much it. I'm just gonna plug Two Hosts. I recorded something yesterday with Matt Cat, of course, for BS Drunk movie reviews.
I'm gonna be recording something this week for that as well.
Yeah, so I think he's gonna edit and upload that sometime soon. So it's gonna be on the BS Drunk Movie Reviews channel. So yes, of course. And with everyone else plugging everything in the chat, do subscribe to their channels as well. I see the Eclectic Goat has been plugged, Mr. Brown Alliance as well. I saw that someone plugged the channel. Do check them out if you have never checked them out. Nice. And you're gonna have a good time. And of course, Miss Martin Muses, do plug her. Go check out her channel. Of course, Reni.
Yeah, Reni is a regular over on Mr. Brown's.
And OTC, thanks for coming on. Golden Age, thanks for coming on as well. Absolute pleasure. And Dark Hour, I keep forgetting where the hell the end stream button is. So
it's right here. Yeah, so we're used to being up in the right-hand corner. It's now down in the middle here, but I got it.
Thank you to everyone in the chat. And thank you to everyone who sent in super chats as well. Really, really, really appreciate you. And for American friends, have a great Super Bowl. Cheers, everyone.
Cheers.
Catch you all later.
Bye.